I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption, breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just picking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Count 'em like the 4-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just tripping on daydreams. Got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.
I figured it all out. You think that you want it, it's all a facade, yeah. You want adrenaline, fuck the consistence, fuck the emotions. I figured it all out. You think that you want it, it's all a facade, yeah. You want adrenaline, fuck the consistence, fuck the emotions. You fully loaded. You're fully loaded. You're fully loaded. You could never see him out of sight. Pull up on you staring at the light. Don't tell me don't push me. 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 You could never see. You could never see him out of sight. Pull up on you staring at the light. Don't tell me don't push me. 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 I figured it breaks and I will fall. The ground shakes, the wind will shiver off. The world returns the same place without change. I will do the same and get out of your strain. Whoa. I can't forgive myself, can't bottle up my memories. If only time will tell the truth and stop explaining the calm before the swell. I feel it in the melody. I will forget this hell and find my sweet serenity. Would we ignore the world at war? Just escape into a universe that's...
Hello and welcome to Day 11 of the Howling eSports League, Season 1, presented by the Howling eSports organization. Today we have three games coming your way. First, it's Kraljevic Serbia taking on Lethal Rage, followed by Fantastic Esports and Galactic Esports going at it, before we round out the day with Gaming Team Krivare versus Lauganma. Bringing you the call, I am Carl Krieger, and it's going to be just me today. We have no Baymax, so just me bringing you the action, breaking down the games. Should be a good time. Hopefully I don't just talk in rambling circles for too long, but standings are now on the screen. Lauganma in first place, Lethal Rage in second, Monospa getting their free win today off of Harmony, so they are half a game ahead of the rest of the pack. We have four teams at 5-5 as well, so a couple of these teams going to end up 6-5. Gaming Team Krivare against Lauganma, and then Kraljevic Serbia against Lethal Rage, trying to take down the top dogs, whereas Fantastic Esports and Galactic Esports are kind of going at it to see which one of those teams is going to kind of break out of the pack, maybe get into playoff position. If the top two teams do win today, they will both be even farther ahead, basically guaranteed for playoffs. And if they do both win, we will have four teams at the top at the end of the day that are 6-5 and then 8-3 and 9-2. So we would kind of have those playoff positions locked with just a couple of games left to go. Still could see some changes, but don't have a ton of room left for that to happen. So these teams really need to come up with the wins today if they want to get anywhere. Kind of recapping what happened on Sunday, we did not have a stream. Of course, it was the LEC finals, so I hope you guys enjoyed those instead, or the last week of the regular season, I should say. So didn't have a stream, but now we have three games today, so we're kind of making that up. Should be pretty exciting. We did unfortunately miss the Lauganma versus Lethal Rage match. On the other hand, we didn't really miss a whole lot. Lethal Rage kind of got run into the ground by Lauganma. Just taking a look at that game very briefly, chatting about that for a sec. Lauganma, again, the only two games that they've lost have been because of a forfeit. So in all the series that they've played, or all the best ones they've played, they have come out on top. 8-0 in those series. Very exciting for that. Lethal Rage just did not look like they were up to the task. Lauganma, I think, very clearly the number one team in this league. Lethal Rage, sure, they're number two, but they're just a little bit farther behind. Everybody else kind of just trying to fight out of that little soup that's kind of forming there in the rest of the pack. Going to transition now into some lineups for this first game of the day, Kraljevic Serbia versus Lethal Rage. We got resting in top M6, Air 4, Zonks, and Warizar for the side of KS, whereas on Lethal Rage, we got AOS, Kanavi, Karsa, KPD, Sinulets, Fair, and DWG Carrier. So that should be a pretty exciting team. This is KS's, I think, second or third game with their new roster. Zonks, the only member that's still remaining from that previous roster, so a little bit up in the air still how this team is going to do as they push for that spot in playoffs. I think the synergy you would expect will just grow and grow for this team because, you know, you're putting a new roster together, right? You're going to get more practice in. Should be fine. We've seen, I think, one game on stream from them. They looked okay, so looking to see them kind of be a little bit more improved. On the side of Lethal Rage, pretty standard team. We've seen KPD, Kanavi, Karsa, KPD, however you like it, being, you know, one of the main players for this team. I think he's done very, very well. See how he performs against M6 today. This is a team that, you know, definitely this is a game they should be winning. If Lethal Rage wants to solidify themselves as a top 2 team in the league, this is a game that they need to win, right? They're against, one of the probably better teams, I would say, in that bottom half. This is a game they need to be winning. They need to be winning this game easily if they want to be solidifying themselves in that second position. And then all starts with the draft, right? Coming up very shortly, looking for them to pick probably early game comps, etc. Look to get the initiative and continue going from there. We've seen Lethal Rage have a little bit of trouble ending the game, and so I think an early game composition could be what they really do want to pick in order to really start that snowball going. That being said, we are getting into the Champion Select now for game number 1 between Lethal Rage and Kraljevina Serbia. Welcome into the Champion Select proper. We've got Kraljevina Serbia on the blue side. Didn't really touch on that a whole lot. Lethal Rage on the red. So they will have that last counter pick in the draft. Looking at some bans coming through already. The Karthus ban, that's something that we've seen become very much more prominent as of late. Received some buffs, and Karthus just kind of has taken over the competitive world. A lot of picks and bans rolling through on this champion. Ultimate very strong, of course, in the late game, and just generally is a lot stronger. There were some plan changes to his W that didn't end up going through, stopping dashes and stuff like that. I think that is a very smart decision by the Balance team, because Karthus with that added as well, I think would just be wildly too strong to be in the meta. So glad that's not there. The Caitlyn ban as well, something we've seen in the last couple of patches. Really started to come through 2 patches ago, I believe, received those movement speed and AD buffs that have really, really helped her out, pushed her into the top tier, which I think was the goal for that, and I'm very excited to see it. I love Caitlyn personally, so pretty excited that she is in the meta. But banned away for this game, the AD carry picked straight away for Kingdom Serbia. It's going to be the Ashe. Makes a lot of sense. Ashe is something we've seen, especially in this league, almost every game, pick or ban, and across the world as well. Just become a very top-tier AD carry. The range has helped. Received a couple of nerfs to the attack speed bonus on the Ranger's Focus. That's her Q, but it hasn't really seemed to matter, right? That ultimate is so strong, and Ashe is a champion that when she's strong in the meta, she's not strong because, she can lay down the punishment in team fights necessarily. That's important, right, to have for an AD carry, but it's not the reason that Ashe is always strong. Ashe is very strong because of that ultimate, right? You can go for those picks. The cooldown build has become very prominent, and pretty exciting to have that in the game. I think she adds a lot of playmaking to a team. She makes the game a lot more exciting, right? You can pick potential. That Ashe arrow coming through into the mid lane, into the top lane, can be very, very game-changing. Programming note, Kanavi Karza KPD has picked up the Yone for presumably the jungle position. We'll actually see where it goes. Not too sure about that. Obviously, this is just the draft, so he's not picking his own champion. Pretty exciting. Brand new champ is enabled, as we can see here. Looking forward to seeing the Yone. We also have a Shyvana, the champion name just flew out of my mind like a little bird, but it's back in, so we figured that out. Shyvana also quite strong. I don't really know if I want to say she's strong. She's kind of coming back into the meta. She's like sneaking her way back into the meta, I think. I've seen a decent number of AP Shyvanas coming through. I think definitely can do a lot of work if she gets ahead. If she gets behind, she just kind of jumps in, you throw one fireball, doesn't do a whole lot, and then you kind of just die. So that's not great. So we'll see how well Kanavi Karza KPD can do for himself. We did see a Shyvana last week as well, coming into a little bit more prominence here. Senna AD carry was picked up by Lethal Rage, as we're already kind of just done with the picks, so we just have some time to chat here before we get into the game. I like the Senna pick a lot. I think it's pretty strong. Not against a lot of melee champions, though, and I think that could be a problem for this Senna as we get into this game, because Senna needs to go for the souls, right? You need to be stacking up the souls, and it's really hard to do that against a very high-range bot lane. Against something like a Galio support, Nautilus support makes a lot of sense, can be a lot stronger, get a lot more souls. In this lane, I think she'll have trouble stacking the souls, and it'll just be more about the damage that comes through from the lethality. Another programming note, it's going to be the Yone in the mid lane. A little bit of a glitch with the display here. So we do not have 2 Sennas. That is, it's not, oh my god, 2 Sennas. It is, in fact, oh my god, 1 Senna and 1 Yone in the mid lane. So that could play a part in this game. We'll see how familiar Sinulets is with the champion, right? Came out very recently. could be a little bit not comfortable on that yet. How many games do you really put in on the champion, right? How many is enough? You can't get in 50 games in 3 days. I mean, you could, but I'm guessing that's not what's going on in this situation. I'll be against the Corki. Not too sure how that matchup will be, of course. Haven't seen it a whole lot, as the champion is brand new, but Corki, a very standard pick for the mid lane. The whole comp, really, for Carly Venus Serbia, very, very standard right now. You have the tank top with the ultimate, help out his team. Lee Sin jungle, great early game jungler. Corki, mainstay in the mid lane. Ashe, very meta pick right now. Karma as well has grown a lot in popularity in the support position. So there's a lot of, things going right for Chaos. I don't think there's a lot of things that are extraordinary for this team. I think this is a very standard, basic team comp for the meta right now. Nothing's really jumping out at me as being very exciting, but nothing's really jumping out at me as being awful either. And so I think, I'm not excited about this team, but I think they have chances. On the side of Lethal Rage, relatively standard team comp on, both ends. The Ornn is pretty solid, and the Thresh is pretty meta. Other than that, Senna 80 carry, it's something that we've seen a little bit, but it's not a massive thing in the meta. More of a niche pick, I would say. The Yone, of course, is brand new, so, not really a meta pick or otherwise yet, it's just new. And the Sejuani jungle, Shyvana jungle, cannot get this champion's name in my head. Definitely not what you would consider meta, right? It's not a Zac, it's not a Sejuani, it's not a Trundle. Things we've seen a lot in this league. Graves as well coming through. The Shyvana, I like the pick personally, but it needs to get ahead. And we'll see what lane she decides to snowball. She doesn't have great gankable lanes. It's hard to gank a Corki. He has that Valkyrie, Ornn into Shen, Shadow Dash away. The Ashe Karma lane, it's just so high range, right? Might be a big problem for them to gank. So I worry for Kanavakarsa KPD's ability to gank in this game, just because the lanes that he's against don't really have a ton of ability to be ganked. They all kind of have movement abilities. They're going to stay far back. And at the same time, he doesn't have a ton of gank setup. Sure, the Ornn Horn is good, but if it just gets dashed away from by resting in top of the Shen, your gank's kind of over before it starts, right? And so Yone sure has some setup, but it's not, there's no like point and click, just instant lockdown that's going to get you that kill. So that could be difficult for Kanavakarsa KPD if he wants to get ahead on the Shyvana. More programming notes are being whispered into my ear. Lelouch is not here today for Lethal Rage. Obviously, one of their star players, I would argue the best player on that team very clearly, will not be here today, as you can see in the roster rundown. So that may hurt this team. They may have a little bit more trouble kind of pushing their advantage, and we might see Lethal Rage kind of get brought down into the level of the rest of the teams in this league without that superstar. And, it's important that you have your superstar playing. It adds a lot of confidence to the team. It adds a lot of skill to the team. And I think a lot of times sides will kind of fall apart if they don't have that really star player on the team, right? It can be difficult to play. Maybe you don't have that leading voice. You don't have that leading carry in the game. Who's going to take control? It can kind of all fall apart. And so kind of look for Lethal Rage to be a little less coordinated. On the side of Chaos, we've also talked about this a little bit already. They're the new side. They've had another week of scrims since we last saw them. So I think we could see kind of a better coordinated game by Carly Venus Serbia. I think for this team, they just need to kind of survive the early game and start scaling. They scale very well. Corki, really strong in the late game. Ashe, also strong in the late game, right? If you can get those couple of items. The Shen shield only gets bigger. We've seen Shen's kind of just pop off randomly when he's at 6 or 7 items. You can't get 7 items. Just kidding. Scratch that. 5 or 6 items. M6 in the Lee Sin does fall off, of course. Lee Sin is not a great late game champion. And so I think in the hyper late game, this team may have trouble. I'm not really saying that they outscale, but I think that they scale fine. I don't think they need to worry about getting into the late game. For Lethal Rage, the scaling is very good. For the Senna, for the Ornn, the Shyvana falls off, though. So I think this is a game where both junglers are really not going to have a ton of relevance if it gets really late. If it doesn't go late, I don't think it will matter. They'll both still be quite strong. Lee Sin, obviously, when he's going for those kicks, can do a ton of damage. Could have some trouble with finding targets. Senna can be hard to kick just because of the way the E works. The Shroud, you kind of lose vision a lot. You don't really want to be kicking an Ornn in. You don't want to kick a Shyvana in. The Yone, if you kick him at the wrong time, he'll just kind of end up going back anyway. So that's not great. And so, there's, I think, some concern with this Lee Sin that he may not be able to find the picks that he's really looking for. So watch for him to really be finding those insects at proper moments. Otherwise, Lee Sin really falls flat. If you're not going for the kicks, he's not that great. There's definitely better champions if you just kind of take away Lee Sin's ultimate, obviously. And so I worry for this pick. Other than that, I think the KS team is pretty strong. I think this is definitely a relatively even game, I would say, going into the game. I don't think either team has really won super hard in the draft. It's not one of those games where it's like, oh, this draft is just awful, you got smashed in draft, and it's over. So I think that's, a good news if you're a Kraljevic Serbia side. I think, a little bit lucky, obviously, that Lelauch is not here today. The star player for the other side not available, unfortunately. But it's their chance, right? This is your chance to win another game and maybe try to secure your playoff spot, right? There's only a couple of more games coming your way in this league, right? There's 3 more games after today, and that's not a lot of time. And if you can get a game lead and take a game off one of the top teams, that can give you a lot of confidence going into the future games. I think it's very important that Kraljevic Serbia convert on the game today. They looked strong earlier in the season. They've had a little bit of a slump right now, but other than that, they're doing okay. This is a pretty good team. We are now out of the Rift. Very cool production value. Shout out to everybody behind the scenes here at Howling eSports organization. Really appreciate the very cool cinematics that you all have for us. Makes my job quite a lot easier. Once again, on the solo cast today, BAMX is not around for now, so thank you so much for bearing with me, but we are on to the Rift for game number 1 of this series. Of course, it is the best one, so it will be the only game. But got a 5-point counter just hanging out. Nobody getting a whole lot done right now. Zonks going for a nice little walk in his jungle, but looks like nothing is really going to come of this for now. Nobody really making any kind of play. We got a little bit of a party in the river bush right now, but I would expect some vision to go down. I think that the side of KS will probably push forward for a ward here. I think that would make a lot of sense for them. But it looks like right now nobody really wants to go for a ward of any kind.
Minions have spawned.
Minions now on the Rift. Ward went down by Konami Karsak APD. Backs for the sweeper, and a nice ward in the bot side pixel brush for Warazar and Zonks. So a tiny bit of vision for both teams, but mostly defensive. Not going to get a whole lot from that. Fair chilling in the bot lane. Might get a soul here on Zonks. This could be kind of a bad trade for this Ashe. There's the auto tag and the Q. Running away with that soul in his pocket. A little bit of damage taken by both AD carries, but not a lot to come of it thus far as the minions are now in the lane. Junglers also starting on the same side, so they will likely meet in the bot lane at some point. This is a little bit unusual. I think a lot of time we see junglers starting themselves on the bot side and then walking towards the top lane, whereas in this game they're starting on the top and going towards the bot. But they will still meet around the Scuttle Crab at 3 minutes 15 seconds or so. Watch out for that fight, because I think both these champions want to fight early game and have a lot of damage. They might want to go toe-to-toe. We could see a 3v3 in the bot lane very soon when they go down there, or they might just decide to trade scuttles in some way. Everybody clears their camps, and then you're good to go. Lee Sin right now, M6, just a little bit ahead in the push. Level 2 push as well in the bot lane right now for KS, but doesn't look like they're going to push that advantage terribly far. No early gold leads, of course, just very early on in the game, but a nice push into the tower. I think, so far a winning lane for Kraljevic Serbia. This lane of Thresh and actually, I was just going to say, going to have to wait for the hook. Death Sentence going down in the bot, and Warazar taking so much damage. Going to have to flash himself away. He does get out for now, but he's burning very low. Zonx trying to trade back some damage, but a nice hook leads to quite a nice trade there for Lethal Rage, trading 3 summoners for 1 and a lot of health on the Karma. This is going to serve them very well if they continue this lane under tower. One more hook could spell doom. I know Keria is pretty low, but that trade also will help out the dive, right? It's hard to get dove if your enemy laners are very low, right? So I think they have kept themselves alive for now. Going to be farming up some souls. A nice push on the blue buff, though. This could be kind of messy. Yone is walking down as well. So Sinulets is going to be here. This is going to be a 4v4. Watch the teleports to possibly come through the fight. Does commence, though. Zonx flashed himself away, but it is M6 that is in for the long haul, able to safeguard over the wall, but Yone has arrived. Sinulets now on the front line. Corky trying to fire some damage back, but he is out of mana. Warazar running himself away. Yone back out of that situation. 4 versus 3 now in the bot lane, but Kanavi carves the KBD trying to go for it. That's a flash play from Carry, but he might have bitten off more than he can chew. That's first blood in favor of M6 as the Yone has now rejoined the fight, but Zonx picking up a kill at the same time. The Yone is too late. The 3 versus 4 was too hard. And Kraljevic Serbia picking up first blood, 1,000 gold lead and 2 kills for their name in a nice play there. Sinulets just not having the impact that he was hoping for in this lane, just does not have the damage at this point in time. Pushing the bot lane. Ironically, now in favor of Lethal Rage because the Yone is down here. Sinulet's chilling in the bot lane for now, but Zonx got a kill, got an assist, and got a red buff. This is massive if you are the Ashe, right? This is so much lane priority for the next couple of minutes. Having red buff on an AD carry as an AD carry player feels so good in the laning phase. You just feel like you do so much damage. Overall, a bad fight for Lethal Rage. They tried to contest. They didn't work out. I think you just have to back off. They continued to push their try to push the advantage that they had, but Yone wasn't there. It was a 3 versus 4. You cannot continue to go for that fight. They tried to do it, and they ended up losing. That's what happens when you get punished. Maybe showing a little bit of cracks in the communication. I talked about this earlier. Without your star player, you can have some trouble sometimes. Maybe that is what's afflicting Lethal Rage right now. Dragon is up in just 5 seconds. Will be the Cloud Dragon, the first one on the Rift as well. Going to be started up immediately by this Shyvana. That's kind of what I wanted to see her do. Her gank potential not very strong. M6 is in the area, though. Maybe could go for the steal. Blast coming over the wall, actually very aggressive. Not sure he knew that was going on. Not entirely sure what the plan is on this situation either, although Wars are coming over. Red team does pick up the Dragon. That's going to be Lethal Rage. Lee Sin going very low. Teleport a little bit late. Will he pick up the kill? Yes, he will. Flashing over to safety. The Triumph to keep himself alive as well. Double teleport. That's Shadow Dash straight on to the jungler. Shyvana is taken out of the fight immediately on this one. Zonx is going to fall as well. Simulet's picking up that kill for himself. 3 versus 4. If the team can arrive for Chaos, this should be a winning fight for them. When's the Sonic Wave going to be back available? Resting in top, not actually Lee Sin. I don't know what I'm looking at. Not going to be working out for him. Simulet's having to flash himself away. Sonic Wave is on his head, not going to be followed through. They do pick up the Dragon, but they lose another fight. 2 for 1. Nice play by M6, actually getting straight over that wall. The confidence to take that Blast Cone. Didn't even need the Stand United as well. Resting in top, had that teleport. He will have the global advantage relatively shortly once he does have that Stand United available. Will be the rest of this level should be working out for him. But KS doing pretty well for themselves. 1,500 gold lead. They're not in a bad place. You lose the one Dragon, sure, that kind of sucks. That's Shyvana's thing. As long as you can stop the bleeding. If you don't give up another 2 Dragons, I would say, is really the point where you should be okay. Giving up the one Dragon this early in the game, it hurts a little bit. In the end, it's not a big deal. Because the stats don't really matter. It's just a Cloud Dragon. One of the better ones, I would say, based on stats. Just because of the ultimate cooldown. Being so big early on in the game for important ultimates. But at the same time, it's just one of them. It doesn't really matter. And as long as you're winning the fights, you should be able to snowball past this and make it not really matter. Right? So looking forward to what KS can do. I think they're in a very pleasant position right now. Looking to see them continue to transition this into the mid game. I think they need to continue trying to pick fights with this Lee Sin. M6, I think, needs to become a ganking machine. He's going to recall. I'm sure he has a ton of gold in his pocket. That's the Warrior enchant already completed. This is a terrifying Lee Sin at this point. Sinulet's is doing so much damage in the middle onto Air 4. He's going to be going down the dive into the turret. The solo kill. Yone showing up big. 2-0 now. Sinulet's doing very well for himself. You're going to throw himself in a recall. Has a red buff to his name at the same time. Very, very scary on this champion. Maybe just a little bit of unfamiliarity there by Air 4. Maybe just not respecting it. Not too sure what happened there, but he does go down. Lethal Rage trying to fight their way back at least a little bit into this game. He has picked up a crit cloak for himself, so very much channeling the Yasuo with the crit build for himself here, but that does make a lot of sense if you're trying to be your brother. Definitely want to emulate. Always emulate your siblings, folks. That's very important. That's what siblings do, of course. Recall coming through in the bot lane. Going to be the Manamune build, excuse me, on that one for Zonx on the Ashe, something we've seen creep up in popularity and kind of become the standard. We're actually going to see a replay of that fight. Sinulet just goes in. Everything's been used. Ultimate Ignite onto Air 4, and that is all she wrote, essentially. Air 4 didn't have the rockets available, couldn't really trade back, just had no chance to survive on that one. Just to answer the chat, yes, there is only one caster today. It's just me. Hello, I am Jarl Carl. Baymax not around, unfortunately, at the moment. So, gonna be just me. I appreciate you sticking with it. Do have to occasionally take a break to have a breath or have some water. That's very important. Take care of yourselves out there. So, I appreciate you all sticking with me. Doing the best that I can, of course. But we are on to the Herald, probably even to Serbia. Looking to secure this objective for themselves. Makes a lot of sense. You lost the Dragon. You want to get something back. And it's before the plates fall. This is a very early Herald. I think very smart by them. They found the window, rotating the bot lane up there. That's something we've seen, it kind of in the last 6 months or so. It's not even really a new tactic anymore. If you can rotate your bot lane up when they have priority, as the bot lane of KS does right now, can get the free Herald. That will get you a lot of plates. I look to see them use it, proactively. You want to kill a couple of plates, then drop the Herald down. Meanwhile, we're going to see a fight, though. Carry just way out of position. The Thresh didn't even really see what happened there, but should not have been there clearly. Going down, this might be a blast gun over the wall onto Kanavi Cars KPD. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Dragon's Descent have to be used. End of the day, not going to be enough. AOS wandering over, decides against it, but he could be in trouble of getting dove here as well very shortly. It's 2 versus 3. Don't think we're going to see anything come through. They might try to drop the Herald, but I think that would be a little bit premature on their part. Looks like Zonk's just going to be farming up the wave, looking to get toward his mana immune very soon. He should be able to do so. The combined cost, I think, is just 375, so not a huge deal. Sinulet's in the mid lane, not quite finding Air 4, who's just sitting on the tier, just trying to farm up. Right now, down a lot of CS. He is down 25 farm, folks. That is not great if you are the mid laner of Kralina Serbia, because he's the one that needs to be scaling up in the long run, and it's going to be a long time before this Corki is online if he's going to keep farming at this rate. 60 CS at 10 minutes. It's not awful, but for this kind of a competition, it's not what you're looking for, right? You want to be up in 80 plus, I would say, is pretty solid. Getting that 8 a minute through for yourself. So going to need to put a little bit more work in. Has been under a lot of pressure. Dragon has now spawned. That's Sandy United on the back of M6 and Cheddar Crystal Arrow as well. Dragon's Descent, though, going to buffer beautifully away from that. We're resting atop the Flash Taunt. Going to try to go in onto this Shyvana, but it's 3 versus 4. The members are not here. The carries are not here. M6 out of position, going to have to go. They're just going to try to continue the fight, though. Can they pick up the kill onto Carrier before the rest of their team goes down? Death Sentence tries to buy a little bit of time, but Carrier does finally get taken down. 2 versus 3 is going to continue. The carries are arriving. Warzar, can he run himself away? Is going to finally be taken down. Shatter Dash Cross 2. His team has now arrived. M6 on the scene. Does not have the kick, but he might not need that. That's a nice stopwatch to buy a little bit of time from resting in top, or from Fair, I should say, going back to the previous Shadow. Sinulet's going to get himself out the Flash. Nice W from Fair. One more rocket, though, could be enough. Does he land it? Yes, he does from downtown. Air 4 picking up the kill. Another fight win for Kraljevina Serbia. They are looking to run over this map right now. They're going to pick up the Dragon as well. Evening the score, they don't gain a lot to their gold lead, but a very aggressive fight, maybe even too aggressive. In the end, they still win it out, picking up that Dragon for themselves. This is huge for them in this one. It's going to be a Mountain Soul this game, but we're 15 minutes plus away from that one. I don't think that's going to be a huge deal in this game just because it is so late, right? That sense, the mid lane not going to quite land. That's the Herald spawn up. I don't really love this call. I think you want to really be taking down the turret with it. You have a little bit longer on it. You have another minute or so, I believe, maybe even 2. Would have liked to see that maybe get dropped after a bit more of a push. But you do get the plate money, so nothing too bad with that. Gold lead back to 1,500, but this is still a very close game. We're at, that is Hook actually in the middle, going to have to hold that thought. Air 4 could be in all sorts of trouble. Sinulet's trying to go forward, Lantern down if he needs a bit of an escape, but he doesn't even need an escape. He's going back in. M6 going to try to go for the kick, but he doesn't have it quite available, and Cheddar Crystal Arrow could be a little bit late, or it could be just in time. Root could be going down on the Sinulet's, but M6, can he continue the fight? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do so. Warzar walking forward very aggressively. Mantra Q going to go a little bit wide. Everybody going to live to tell the tale except Air 4, who is going to maybe have to rename himself to Ground 4, because that's where he is currently buried. Going down, unfortunately, in the mid lane. Lethal Rage looking to fight back a little bit, right? This is one of the top teams in the league. They are not going to just roll over and die. As here's a replay of that Dragon fight, actually. M6 goes in. They try to pick up the kill onto the Shyvana. It doesn't really work. They miss the Flash Taunt as well. The Dragon's Descent nicely buffered. Everything missed. Now it's a 4 versus 3. At this point, they need the carries to arrive, and instead of backing off, they continue to just push in onto carry. I like this decision a lot. At least trying to trade back the support and keep running to allow your team some time to survive and arrive. M6 trying to join in with his team. The Corki's finally here. The Ash is finally here. Warzar does give his life, but in the end, the team is finally able to arrive. Fair. The stopwatch not going to buy enough time. Sinulet's able to just zoom himself out and then flash over the wall, so he does end up surviving. And then watch these rockets at the end. Air 4, kind of a fail flash, but in the end, it does work out. Here's that last rocket in the chamber. It's the big one. He doesn't care about your shroud. You're right in the face with the rocket. Very well done by them in that fight. Really coming out on top, but still, the gold lead is 300 gold at the moment. I'm not too sure why that. I feel like that went down a lot while we were in that replay. Sinulet's really popping off. Quite a big shutdown on his head as well. So that could be a situation, but he's going to engage again on Air 4. Going to miss that a little bit, but Air 4, what can he do? He can't do anything. Sinulet's just very persistent in the mid lane. Phantom Dancer completed. It's too much for Air 4 to deal with. Meanwhile, in the top lane, flash away from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. The ultimate comes down as well. Call Forge got M6, going to just die where he stands. And it's probably going to Serbia looking a little bit weak. They're now down in gold, unfortunately. Very, very even on that front. Lethal Rage clearly are not going to just give up in the game, like I was saying. And, yeah, not really working out in the way that Carly Vita Serbia was looking for in the last couple of minutes. Karya and Kanavi Karska KPD on the top side, they're going to be able to stop this push at the same time and really have kind of been brought to a halt, I would say, KS. They kind of look like they had the objective control. They were able to win a fight, winning a couple of fights. You got the Herald, you got the Dragon, you had a little bit of tempo. Now you've just kind of lost some kills across the map, and I don't know what they're going to do. They've kind of lost their mojo, right? They've lost all the tempo. They've lost all the pressure. Lethal Rage is finding picks. Sinulets is very, very strong on this Yone right now and is in danger of just taking over the game, I think. You know, we'll kind of get to see how strong Yone's carry potential is, but overall, this champion, at some point, it doesn't matter if your champion is good, if you're 4-0, if you're 5-0, right? So, I'm looking forward a lot to this Yone in the fight. I haven't seen Yone a lot, so I apologize for my ignorance about the champion. Might have to hold that thought. We might actually be about to learn a little bit more about him as he's just kind of going in 1 versus 4, takes himself back away from that one. The Herald going to kind of be given over, actually, by Lethal Rage right now. I'm a little surprised about that. It doesn't really seem like the greatest choice. To me, you're giving a little bit of tempo back to Chaos. They can probably drop this before the Dragon if they want to go for that, which is up in about 50 seconds. A little bit questionable of a decision to my mind, but if they just didn't want to contest, they kind of sent Sinulets in. They said, nope, they're all here. Let's kind of back ourselves away and kind of reset for this Dragon. Again, up in about 30 seconds. Final recalls have been taken by Kanavi Karska KPD prior to this Dragon. Has the Stinger, not quite the whole Gnasher's Tooth, but he has Runic Echoes, so that's a lot of AP in his pocket. So could it be landing some... Yeah, thank you so much, Hoond, in the chat. Yeah, the sip of water was very life-giving. Got to keep the voice safe. Apologize for that, but definitely cannot monologue for the entire game without refreshing myself a little bit. So I apologize for that, everybody, but we're going to get there. We're going to get through this together. It's a fun time. This game is really heating up at this point, I would say. It kind of feels like Chaos has won all the fights, but are also down in gold. And that's always very exciting. I remember there was a game in Season 3 Worlds, I think, where Fnatic against Royal Club was up, I think, like 17 kills to 4 and lost the game. So that's a fun story that you didn't really need to know. Stand United on the back of Zox as we are going to go into the fight. Teleport comes through from AOS as well. The Dragon already burned down for Lethal Rage. Just kind of conceded. Shadow Crystal Arrow going to go out. They might try to look for the fight. That's a nice taunt onto Sinulets. Really get taken down to half HP. Kanavi Karska KPD with the Dragon's descent into the middle of the team. M6 falling very quickly. Sinulets is just looking to rip through the rest of this team. Going back to that image. Kanavi Karska KPD picking up the 1 kill for himself as well. Resting in top is going to be resting in peace because he's been taken down. A 3-for-0 fight. Zonx going down to the recall. I don't know if he's going to survive. He actually does get himself away, but not a lot of wins there for KS. Only the Herald charge in the mid lane. They lose that fight 3-for-0, and they lose the Dragon. Lethal Rage starting to look very strong. Sinulets, I don't think, can be taken down in these fights as we now transition into Color Caster, Carl. As Yone just goes straight in. This is the power of the champion, right? He knows he's going to go back. There he goes. He's out of there. It's like Zoe. It's like a Zoe ultimate, but way cooler, right? As if Zoe was fun. Anyway, we're moving back on into the analysis in this one. A nice taunt goes out onto Sinulets, but unfortunately, he's just a little too tanky. Doesn't really get taken down. Dawning Shadow onto him, and they've blown all their cooldowns on trying to kill the Super Carry, which makes a lot of sense, right? You want to shut him down. Unfortunately, you don't have any damage, so you kind of just lose. Resting in top, like I said, resting in peace there. Fair picks up the kill on that one over the wall, and it really just looks like Chaos doesn't have any damage right now. They need some more time. I don't know if they're going to get that time. Resting in top, probably the strongest member right now. As you can see, he's kind of wailing on AOS up in the top lane. But Zonx and Air4 don't really do anything right now. You don't have the Trinity Force completed on Air4. You have a Manamune completed on Zonx. And that doesn't do a lot. I don't know if you've ever played AD Carry, but when you have like 1.5 items on AD Carry and you're losing, you basically are like a ranged minion that that analogy fell off the rails real quick, but you're basically a ranged minion, just full stop. And it isn't great. In the meantime, we're seeing Warzar and M6 just kind of try to get caught out here. I'm not really sure what the plan is. With this one, Much Q comes through. They're just kind of waving, saying goodbye. Toodaloo on that one. They are over the wall. Zonx throwing in some volleys in the bot lane. Might see a dive, but this seems like a terrible idea. Chaos right now look lost to me, and they're actually going to go in for the fight. Maybe they're not lost. Maybe they're going to say, we're trying to win this one. Kanavi Karska KPD taken down. A nice Dragon's Rage kick over the wall. KS finding something back. They're still down a lot of gold, but maybe trying to go for a bit of a dive. Teleport coming through as well. If we can move up to this one, Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming across. That's a nice shot onto Fair. He is going to be stuck for the next 3.5 seconds, taking a lot of damage down to half HP. Valkyrie for it. Can he get himself away? Throws himself the heal with the Q. He might get out. Is the rocket available? The big one goes a little bit wide. Carrier does go down. Dawning Shadow a little bit too late to secure safety for his teammate. So another kill picked up there by KS. They did invest the teleport from resting in top. Fight may continue. Sinulet's going down to half HP. He couldn't get taken down. Oh, I might have been getting too excited once again. Under the tower. That's a double kill for him as M6 goes a little bit too deep. Resting in top. Down once again. Air 4 just has to run for the hills. It started good. It ended bad in favor of KS. Might get a tower here for himself. They did lose a couple of kills. Essentially a pretty even trade. Got a bit of a flank. Sinulet is looking to go sicko mode. He's going into the fight, picking up 1 kill, gets exhausted. He doesn't even care at this point. PD Shield, he picks up 2 kills. He picks up 3. It's Yone in town. He is in charge. He's arrived. He's 11-0. The triple kill coming through for the Yone. I'm not entirely sure what just happened, but hey, it looked cool, and that's all we care about here at the Howling eSports League Season 1, folks. This is the true entertainment you were looking for. Let's watch it again. It was so exciting. Carrier dodging the arrow. He's saying, Fair, I don't even want you to survive right now. Never block the arrows for your AD carries. We're all terrible people. Fair flashed himself away. Able to keep himself safe. Doesn't really do a whole lot. Carrier, he's going to go down. Even if the shield had come across, it wouldn't have made any difference. Now we just zoom forward to the exciting part of this fight. Sinulet's, he looks like he's in a little bit of trouble. But plot twist, he got Lee Syndromed very hard against the enemy Lee Sin. That was nice. We picked up a double kill. This is actually a pentakill overall. Now let's just enjoy this together. He goes in, he gets exhausted, he doesn't care, he kills everybody, and he's out. And welcome to Yone, everybody. Think like Zoe and Yasuo together, and then it's good. That's what I'm going with right now, for sure. Also, I am Jarl Carl. I am casting, and it's pretty exciting. Hope you're enjoying so far. I know that I certainly am enjoying attempting to watch this game. Basically, it's Yone versus the world right now, so that's fun. Also, there's a Baron going on, and kind of just giving up. We'll see if the steal comes through. Not going to happen. Blue team has to pick up the Baron buff. We're going to go straight into another fight. Oh, guess who it is? It's Sinulet's picking up some kills. 2 kills already for Lethal Rage. They're going to chase onto Air 4. I don't see him escaping this. Maybe he will, actually. Kanata Coach KBD didn't really want to go over the wall. Sinulet's, though, he is here. There's no Valkyrie. He is here, and you had better have some fear because he's 12-0 now on the Yone. They pick up the Baron, but they lose 3 members for it. Not really what you're looking for. Yeah, Yone diff for sure. Thank you so much, chat, for interacting with me a little bit. That's always fun to see as well. I don't know if that was really worth it at the end of the day, taking the Baron. I mean, sure, you get the Baron buff, but if you're all dead, you're not really going to go anywhere with that one. And there's a double push coming on right now. Shen also in trouble, I think, in the top lane. Not too sure what's going on there, but Yone is going in, so we're going to assume that it's not looking great for KS. We can flip up the top lane. Thank you so much. Orizar going in with the root, but Fair getting himself away. That's a redemption as well. Sinulet's now back up to 60% HP. Q not quite going to land. Resting in top. Maybe looking for a taunt, but that is very dangerous to go in for this one. The Dragon also being started up. Lethal Rage going to pick up their second Mountain Dragon of the game. M6 now on the chase, but I don't think you want to be chasing for that one. Carly Serbia, the early game looked good. They're just kind of falling apart at the seams right now. This Yone is so strong. Yone diff is for sure in the chat. Is this champion just broken, or is Sinulet's just a god? Question mark. Who knows? We're going to be finding that one out as we go forward in this game. But it is now soul point as well for Lethal Rage. One more, and they'll get that Mountain Soul. That could be very exciting for them. I think that would secure the game almost certainly. This Baron buff is not going to get anywhere for KS right now, so I think they're just going to try to buy a little bit of time with that. They're going for a cheeky red buff steal. That's cool. That doesn't really matter either, but I would be sad if I was Fair right now when I go to pick up that red buff and it's gone. So that feels bad, honestly, on that one. Sinulet's clearing out some minions in the mid lane. Let's do a little item rundown. Haven't really talked about items for a little bit, so let's do that. We got 3 items on Yone. That's kind of scary. A lot of crit coming through, PD and the IE, and Death Stance, in case you wanted to kill him. Looking at the gold, he has a lot of money. He is up 5,000 gold over his opposite number in Air Force. That tells a story of its own. Other lanes also very far ahead, right? The top lane, quite far ahead as well. Back to the items, resting in top. Ooh, nice hook. A little bit dodged away from. Didn't go for that. We also saw off-screen shut down. Fair finds himself in the death chamber. Not too sure what happened with that one. Back in the top lane. Nice taunt onto Sinulet's, but taunt just means you're getting auto-attack. That's not what you want to see taking so much damage. This Yone is kind of insane. Legendary now, resting in top. Now taking out. We're going to go into the fight. Oh, it's so much damage. Call the Forge God. What a great combo. Multiple members just falling. It's an evisceration right now. Surgically removed from the map by Sinuets, 14-0-6 on this one. That is 4 for 1 across the map. Fair did fall, but it might not make any difference. The push in the top lane coming through. It's just Zonks. What can he do? What can he do? The answer, not a whole lot on this one. He is just trying to throw in the volleys, just tickling in the backs of this one right now. They're pulling them out like toothpicks when they come rolling through, doing about 80 damage at one time. Inhibitor turret is now the focus target, likely going to be taken down. They might go for the inhibitor. They might back off. We may see a play from KS. Teleport's available for resting atop. This is the time. If they're going to make a play, they have to make it now. There's a ward behind them as well. Will they commit to this? There's no Kanavi cards to KPZ. There is no fair. It's going to be a 5 versus 4 if they decide to go in for it. Inhibitor does go down. They're now into the fight. Sinuets gets haunted up. Dawning Shadow comes across for a bit of a shield onto him at the same time. Resting top taking so much damage. AOS trying to evacuate himself from this situation, but Sinuets is finally going to get shut down. That's 1,000 gold going into Zonks' pocket. They continue the chase. That is so many arrows coming through. Zonk going to pick up the second kill, likely onto AOS at the same time. Who do they give it over to? Yes, they do. That's 1,650 gold in total going over to the Ashe. This could be the game changer, but the fight is not over yet. The teleport comes through from resting in top. Fair could be in all sorts of trouble. He's standing on a ward. Does he know? Yes, he does. Killing it out. Going to take the blast count out to safety. Ring around the Rosie. Coming through on this one. Kanavi carries the KPD. Was able to take down the turret in the bot lane at the same time, though. Objectives going way in favor of Lethal Rage right now, but they do lose a fight. Fair in all sorts of trouble. Arrow goes a little bit wide. The taunt comes down. Kanavi carries. Can he get to the wall? Yes, he can. Is the blast cone there to follow through? It is. Does he have the second Shatter Dash available? M6 did pick up the kill onto Fair in the background. A very nice fight for Chaos, but it might not make any difference in the long run. Inhibitor was taken down. The bot lane inhibitor turret at the same time, losing a lot of objectives, and they're all up for this dragon. A nice hook on two awards. They're not going to do anything, but hey, it looks cool, and that's what we're all here for, right? So this dragon, minute and 30 seconds, is going to be the next big point of contention. AOS now joining his team. The team has respawned. They could go for the counter engage. There is no Zonks. He's not available. Will they look to go forward? Sinuets did get shut down. Still has the 700 bounty on his back. I think this game really just rests on whether he gets picked off or not, right? If he's going down immediately in fights, they probably cannot win this game. But if he's able to pop off, one more fight should do it. Let's see the replay of this one more time. Sinuets picks up that first kill. It looks great for them at the start of this fight, right? And obviously, it is, in the long run, didn't really work out, but Sinuets, how do you kill him? You can't without a whole team effort. Zonks just has to watch. If we speed this up, I'm not sure if we'll continue to go through all of this, but let's start that sentence over. That's the power of the Yone. Does so much damage in that little AoE channel, uses the ultimate coming through, doing a ton. Right, if he's able to get that kind of a fight in this upcoming dragon fight, they will win the game. If he's not, if he gets picked off, Ash Arrow into taunt, into kick back into his team, into air forward, tickling him on the back, maybe could pick up the kill. I'm gonna go probably not, but hey, that's my job. I provide balance to the broadcast. Hopefully we're balanced. I don't know if I'm gonna be mentally balanced at the end of this cast, but we're gonna figure it out. Dragon is up in 15 seconds. Also, mental health, very important, folks. I apologize for the joke. Take care of yourselves out there. Sinuets take the lantern away, because I'm going to enjoy a nice sip of water before this dragon fight. All right, water has been consumed. We're going to slow it down just a little bit. AOS throwing in a little bit of a rock. He's saying, hey, I am a rock. I am an island. And Sinuets could be going in onto the Shen. The Shen, the focus target in all of these fights. Dragon has kind of been ignored. Dawning Shadow comes around, but there's a package. We could see package delivery service, but M6 is going to get delivered straight into the Death Realm. Zonks as well going to fall. This is going terribly wrong for Kraljevic Serbia. They've lost 4 members. They're going to lose 5 members at the end of this. A triple kill coming through. Warzar may actually escape, but it's not going to make any difference. The push down the mid lane. There's minions onto the Nexus turrets. This is going to be the end of a very exciting game number 1 today. Kraljevic Serbia, they played their hearts out. They tried to come up with the victory, but in the end, it was not enough. Lethal Rage, even without Lelouch, are still a team to be reckoned with. The second Nexus tower goes down. The Nexus itself is under fire. There's nobody to defend. It's going down. Lethal Rage improved to 8-3, and they win the game against Kraljevic Serbia. Nexus blowing up. What a game. Honestly, I enjoyed it a lot. Kraljevic Serbia looked like they were going to win. Then, hey, looked like they were going to lose. Definitely played their hearts out. I think a very fun game to watch. The Yone as well. We haven't really seen it yet. That's very exciting. Excitement is good. Lost the train of thought there. I was reading and then everything blew up. But a very nice game by Lethal Rage. They showed that they really are one of the top teams in the league, right? They came back, backs against the wall. They were a little bit behind. Your main player isn't here. It didn't really work in the early game. They pulled it together. The Yone got really fed. In the end, they just kind of took over the game. Yone diff for sure. in the end, it worked out. They get the W. That's what matters at the end of the day. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we're going to have an interview, obviously with Sinulets. I think that was without question the MVP. So, yeah, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with that interview in just a bit. Don't go away.
I feel it in my head, my shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, your music gets me through the highs and lows. My head, shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, you're keeping me from feeling all alone. I've been praying to 1,000 different stars, to 1,000 different arms, till I found you. I've been chasing by 1,000 different hearts, to 1,000 million hours, now I found you. My nights will never be the same again. I got you running through my veins. I feel it in my head, my shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, your music gets me through the highs and lows. My head, my shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, you keeping me from feeling all alone. You keeping me from feeling all alone. You keeping me from feeling all alone. Let me breathe you, take you down into my lungs while we dance into the sun. Now that I found you, you're a part of me, now I can't let you go. You're the heartbeat of my soul. Now that I found you, my nights will never be the same again. I got you running through my veins. I feel it in my head, my shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, your music gets me through the highs and lows. My head, my shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, you keeping me from feeling all alone. You keeping me from feeling all alone. You keeping me from feeling all. I feel it in my head, my shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, your music gets me through the highs and lows. My head, my shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, you keeping me from feeling all alone. You keeping me from feeling all alone. You keeping me from feeling all alone.
Take me in slow, breathe me in and let me go. Feeling the lungs inside you, and the blackened eyes make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control. Let the darkness take control. Darkness take control. May the darkness take control. Take me in slow, breathe me in and let me go. Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of
Welcome back, everybody, to the Howling eSports League. Day number 11 here in the first season, presented by the Howling eSports organization. Was a very exciting game, number 1 of the day. Lethal Rage really rolling over Call of Serbia at the end of the day, in large part due to Sinulet's amazing performance on the Yone, really popping off. That was a lot of kills, one of the most kills I've seen in a long time. And we are now joined by Sinulet. So welcome to the show. Congratulations on the win. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I kind of popped off on Yone. I wasn't expecting that much. But
yeah, it worked out, right? I kind of want to just open the floor up to you. How do you feel about Yone? What do you like about the champion? Why did you pick it? Just like, what are your thoughts on this champion right now? Because it is so new.
I like Yasuo, and it's the type of champion like Yasuo. Exactly. But he's more safe. He has a lot more engages. And overall, he feels better than Yasuo, but sometimes he feels weaker. Like early games, he's weaker than Yasuo and loses to Yasuo lanes. And but he's good into range matchups because he has a lot of sustain and he has a lot of how do I say it? He can approach the enemy pretty easily without getting too much damage because he has his C and he goes back.
Yeah, the go back mechanic seems very cool. Why did you decide to pull it out in this game? I know he hasn't been out for very long. Have you just been very comfortable with the pick? Just looked good? Kind of what were your thoughts picking it in like this specific game?
When a new champion releases, I spam games. I spam like 20 games, 10 games. I just play the champion and accommodate with it, even though it's not played in my lane, you know. But yeah, I was comfortable with Yone.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry?
Yeah, I played it a lot. But now I started playing at the AD carry, and yeah, I didn't see history or something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it looked really good, for sure. Kind of zooming out, last question about the league in general. You guys have now improved to 8-3, looking very, very strong, looking towards playoffs. How do you feel about this playoffs coming up? I know you've had some trouble with Laganma. How confident are you that you guys can make a deep run in the playoffs?
I'm mostly scared of Longama, but if we manage to pull off some good drafts against them, we can pretty easily win.
That's the confidence that we definitely like to hear. Thank you so much for the interview. It's always nice to chat and get your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, thank you as well.
With that being said, always nice to chat with the players after the game, especially after such dominating performance as that was by Sinulets on the Yone, for sure. That new champion really popping off in the first game of the day. But we have 2 more games coming your way. We're going to step aside as we prepare for the second game of the day, which is going to be Fantastic Esports and Galactic Esports going at it to try to improve to 6-5 and try to make their way into the top tier of this league. We'll be back in just 5 minutes. Stick around.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through eyes covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Be faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just kicking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Count 'em like the 4-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just tripping on daydreams. Got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.
I figured it all out. You think that you want it, it's all a facade, yeah. You want adrenaline, fuck the consistence, fuck the emotions. I figured it all out. You think that you want it, it's all a facade, yeah. You want adrenaline, fuck the consistence, fuck the emotions. You fully loaded. You're fully loaded. You're fully loaded.
You could never see him out of sight. Pull up on you staring at the light. Don't tell me don't push me. 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 You could never see. You could never see him out of sight. Pull up on you staring at the light. Don't tell me don't push me. Don't tell me don't push me. Don't tell me don't push me. Don't tell me don't push me.
I figured it all out.
Welcome back, everybody, to day number 11 of the Howling eSports League, Season 1, presented by the Howling eSports organization. Game number 1 is behind us, but we have 2 games still out the windshield coming up your way. The first one, coming up right now, is Fantastic Esports versus Galactic Esports. These are both teams that are sitting at 5-5 in the league right now, looking to improve beyond that 50% win rate, get up to 6-5, and really join that top tier. Champions Life coming your way in just over 90 seconds, so we are really cooking with gas on the countdown. Here are the roster rundown for you. Fantastic Esports on the blue side, it's Schnotty, Antonio, Radovan, Lycro, and Zizzy. While on the red side, it's Galactic Esports, Jakul, Kenobi, Pantufle, Dirty Up, and Nyaz in the support position. Names that we are very familiar with. Both of these teams have not made a whole lot of roster changes so far, which is always nice to see in the league. Of course, you do want teams to kind of stick together, continue building some synergy, and that's there I'm moving everything around. Okay, we're back on track right now. Yeah, you want to build up synergy with your team. You don't want to be making too many roster changes. Of course, sometimes it happens, right? You got some kind of an internal difficulty, something else, but for the most part, you do want to stick with the same roster. It might be a little bit more than the timer is telling us, but just for the production people, just give me a heads up when we're throwing to the champ select, and we can do that. But for now, we'll keep talking about these teams. We have a pretty good matchup, it should be, all things told, right? They're both 5-5, going into the day, essentially tied for last, but also, tied for 4th. That's kind of how the league is right now. We have At the start of the day, we had 5 teams at 5-5, and just Lethal Rage and Laganma ahead of them. So it's a league where a point in the season, I should say, where you need to be winning every game that you can. This is the kind of game that if you want to make the playoffs for both these teams, you have to be winning, because this isn't one of the top teams. It's one of the other teams that's tied with you, theoretically tied for last and or fourth. If you want to make playoffs, if you want to go deep into the game, into the playoffs, you need to be winning this game, because these are not the teams that you need to be beating in the playoffs. You need to be beating Lethal Rage. You need to be beating Laganma. So if you want to make the playoffs, you have to win this game. Very important game. I would expect whoever wins this game is likely going to make the playoffs, and I think whoever loses this game will likely not make the playoffs. And in that sense, this is a very important game for these two teams. Got to go for the win. It's not against one of the top teams. You have to come up with a W. And I look forward to the game. I look forward to the draft again. I think the draft for both teams was good last game. We'll see if anybody goes for the Yone, because that popped off in the last game. Wasn't even taking notes. We're going to find out. But with that being said, we're going to throw to our amazing intro to Champion Select. We'll be right back in about 30 seconds with the draft between Fantastic eSports and Galactic eSports. Hope you stick around. Welcome to the Champions Select proper, everybody. Fantastic eSports on the blue side. It's Galactic eSports on the red side, and it turns out we're just not banning anybody today. We don't need to ban anybody. They're saying we are so good, I don't even care what you pick. So we're going to probably get that sorted out at some point. Here we got 0 seconds on the clock. We're at absolute 0, and that is what is being done right now. Absolutely nothing. So hopefully we get that figured out. But, I could break down the invisible draft anyway. That could be fun. Oh, we're back on the clock. That's pretty exciting. That's what you like to see. Clock ticking down, and the red light is blinking in the ban zone. Good signs all around. The Trundle, first pick taken away from Kenobi, one of his main picks. You do not want Kenobi on the troll. We've seen Star Wars. That guy is kind of troll, so you want to make sure that you take away that pick from him. Fantastic eSports, banning that one away. Very safe. Galactic eSports on the clock. Also, actually, while we're thinking about the clocks, we're moving away from the clocks, I should say. Fantastic eSports versus Galactic's eSport. There's no S, so that's kind of versus no S. Really, the battle of the spelling today, as the Senna has been banned away. Apparently, we're not watching the last game because didn't have a lot of success in that one. But in the end, it worked out. Ezreal also taken off the table. It's 80 carry ban time right now. It makes a lot of sense. 80 carry, as everybody knows, a very powerful role. Really carries a lot of games. That was a joke. I am an 80 carry player, and I'm a bit bitter. So I just wanted to get that through. Aatrox as well taken off the table. I think that makes a lot of sense. Aatrox is one of those champions that is kind of always strong in the meta. He reminds me a little bit of Lee Sin. He's pretty good, and he's never really great, and he's never really awful. And so if you're good at him, you can kind of just always play him. It's kind of fun. Aphelios being hovered, I don't like that idea. I like the Sivir idea a little bit more. That champ's very easy. You press W. Now we're just really trying to troll the caster who's already solo casting. Thank you so much, Fantastic eSports with an S. They have picked up the Caitlyn. Was left that was not a word. Left open, got banned out in the last game, but the Yone has come through once again, and we have the glitches figured out. Yone is actually on the screen. You can see him in all his mummified glory. They're picked up by Jakul. The Zed being hovered. That would be kind of exciting. Come on, lock it in. That'd be fun. Radovan, you know you want to do it. Actually, he probably does want to do it, right? His team's saying, no, please, don't do that. I mean, Callista, that seems questionable. I don't think it's going to be Callista, as it's just Troll the Caster Day. As the LeBlanc, that makes more sense. But actually, what do I know? I guess I'm just an analyst and the color caster and the play-by-play guy. Radovan is the Orianna guy, so that's what he's going to be going for. Ball delivery system could be in full force. Pretty standard teamfight comp for Fantastic eSports, but I just can't get past this Yone. I mean, if it's a third as good as it was in the last game, this game is over. So we'll see how that works out. But for now, maybe they know something we don't. Maybe Orianna is a secret counter on Yone. I don't think Orianna does that well in the Yasuo, to be completely honest with you. So they're kind of similar. I don't want to, equate them too much, but they're reasonably close. See how that works out. The Ashe in the bot lane, Caitlyn Ashe, kind of become the new Corki Azir. to be completely honest with you. In the bot lane, it's one of those matchup that you see almost every game. It's kind of Ezreal is like the top tier AD carry, at least for now, and then Caitlyn and Ashe are right below, so you ban out the Ezreal and you trade the Caitlyn and Ashe, and then you kind of just go from there. I'm very interested to see what kind of a build Lycro goes for with this Caitlyn. I am a Caitlyn connoisseur myself. I love the champion. I think she's very fun. The new build that's kind of been going around is Lethal Tempo, not Lethal Rage, Lethal Tempo as the keystone selection. And then going for a full AD build, you're going to go Infinity Edge into Essence Reaver. And that's going to give you a ton of damage to come through, right? Your Q is going to hurt a ton. Your ult's going to hurt a ton. You don't really need a lot of attack speed because most of your damage comes from your traps. And so you'll play with this kind of Lethal Tempo team fight style where you have like 6 seconds of really hurting. And then you kind of just play for trap, play for your abilities, which is a relatively strong strategy. I like the comp right now that we can see all of it. For Fantastic Esports, a lot. I think this is a fantastic, pardon the pun, team composition for them. I don't remember the last time I saw Olaf not pop off. I think Olaf is just broken in competitive play. I don't really know why. He basically, actually I do know why. I will explain, or attempt to. Olaf always wins fights early game, almost. This champion, his early game skirmishing is insane. And it's really hard not to fight the guy because he looks like he's really low, right? Let's just kill him. Oh, he'll die. It'll be cool. Woo, we're going to win. Double buffs for me if you're the carry. And then he gets like 1 billion attack speed, presses W, heals all the time, and it's kind of just over for you. I think once he gets a lead, it's really hard to stop him because that's the whole point. You can't stop him. So I look forward to Antonio. I think if he gets ahead, could do a lot of work for his team. Going to be up against Pantoufle on the Yone, which is in the mid lane, Sylas in the top lane. I like the comp as well for Galactic Seasport. I think they have a reasonably strong draft. I think Volibear is really OP. I think the Ashe is really strong. I'm not sold on the Sylas top. That's the only thing that I'm a little concerned about for this team. And I think they have less simple win conditions. I think that they are kind of reliant on Yone getting ahead. We haven't really seen a lot of it. Maybe Yone just automatically gets ahead every time. I don't know. But you need to land the Ashe arrow. If this team gets behind, they're not going to have a lot of use. Because Sylas, when he's low or when he's behind, sure, he can steal a nice ultimate. There are some good ultimates to steal. I will grant him that. But if he's behind and he goes in, he's just going to die instantly. And that's not great. Kenobi jumping in. If he's behind, he's going to die. Pantoufle, maybe he goes back out, but he's not going to kill everybody. Same with Dirty Up. We kind of saw the Ashe not get a whole lot done in the last game. So I think this is a team that needs to stay on curve. However, they don't really have the easiest yanks in the world again. Caitlyn Leona is a lane that really can turn a gank on its head. Caitlyn Leona can very easily turn a 2v3 into a kill and an escape. If they have the power. I like the draft from Fantastic Esports. The chat doesn't agree with me, but that's why we're here, right? So we can discuss. I think that the Galactics comp needs to get rolling, whereas the Fantastic comp will kind of get rolling by themselves. They have so much early game that I think if they're able to just kind of take over, the game will end for Galactic Esport. So I don't think it's... I don't know. Basically, the Fantastic comp, if the Olaf just kind of pops off and the Caitlyn gets ahead, I think they'll just kind of win. But there's a lot of more interesting mechanics on the side of Galactics, right? They can steal the ultimate, they can turn off the towers, they can do whatever Yone is doing, they can pick you off with the bot lane. Whereas Fantastic Esport is like very clear, we want to team fight you, we want to go 5v5, and we want to just do more damage than you. And so I think it's kind of this battle of the fun mechanics versus like, we're going to auto attack you to death coming through that we'll see. I think the early game Dragon priority is certainly in favor of Antonio. Lycro and Zizzy on the bot side, especially if you're at level 6, you can ult down with Shnotty. I think there's ways for both these teams to win the game, which is definitely exciting. Bot lane matchup specifically, I think I give this over to the Caitlyn Leona. Caitlyn, of course, received the buffs. You can very easily get the trap on the stunned target. And Leona is just a little bit tankier than the Nautilus. Nautilus without Aftershock is not actually tanky really at all. He's not a tanky boy. He's going to get taken down if he goes in, if he gets trapped. I think Lycro maybe could get one shot right if Kenobi's there as well. There's a lot of crowd control coming through. But Lycro and Zizzy can trade back. If you go for the full engagement of Dirty Up, I don't know if he's going to survive. I think the cleanse is going to be required this game for Dirty Up to get away from this Leona, because if you're getting engaged on by Leona, you're also going to get trapped. And getting trapped is not the plan. Against Caitlyn, if you get hit by the trap, you're going to get hit by the Peacemaker as well. The headshot, probably another auto attack as well, taking a ton of damage. Leona's base damage is not low. by any stretch of the imagination. So I think this bot lane will have priority, especially if Antonio ganks, right? Dirty Up, how does he get away from this Olaf? He doesn't. And at the same time, I think the combo is there in these team fights. If you put the ball on top of Antonio's head, send him in with the Ragnarok, Schnotty on his head as well, you can deliver, basically 3 members into the backline immediately. And I think that could be not great for Galactics, unless they're really far ahead. They just kind of kill him. So I think this is a game. I don't agree with the chat. Sorry, chat. I think the draft is reasonably balanced. I think there's ways for both these teams to win. And it really depends on how that early game goes, which fortunately we're going to see in just a couple of minutes, as we are now loading in on to the Rift for this second game. Once again, I am Jarl Carl. I've been in the chat too a little bit, if you've seen me there, but I am your solo caster today. Baymax not around, unfortunately. Should be back with us for the Sunday broadcast for sure. So looking forward to that. But for now, stuck with me and my drinking the water, so apologize for that. But you got to stay hydrated out there. That's very important, as encourage you all to also have your water, have your popcorn along with us here. Loading into the game. Should be just a couple of seconds before we get to see the cool cinematic again. That was very cool. I look forward to that. Hopefully it still works. I heard there was some tech issues with that in the past, so hopefully that will stay with us for this one, but we have a little bit more time to break down the draft. I don't really know how this top lane's going to go, or the mid lane's going to go, because Orianna versus Yone, I have never seen before in my life. I have never actually seen Yone play, other than a couple games I played with him. Not as him, but with him. So a little bit unfamiliar with how he works still. I am imagining the Orianna won't do terribly, although the Corki didn't do great. And he does have a little bit more range and more escape than does Orianna. So I would worry for her safety, especially if she starts getting behind. We could see that snowball come through where the solo kills just start rolling. And it's really hard to fight back against Yone. It's something I'm noticing in the games that I've seen him already, is if he gets ahead, because of the retreat mechanic where he just goes back, it's really hard to just hard CC him and kill him instantly, because he's tanky enough that he usually can get out of the situation. And that can be quite strong. So, could be dangerous if he gets ahead. He seems like a champion that once he gets ahead is very hard to shut down, because how do you shut him down? He basically has a giant Zoe ult that just goes back immediately, and so he's one-shot you and he's gotten away. So that could be pretty exciting as well. Should just be a couple of seconds, as I'm going to take a celebratory sip of my water as we get into game. We're back from the water break. I heard a rumor that the music is loud as well. The music is actually quite loud, so maybe we can get a check on that before we get into the game. But the Champions Select music is kind of more interesting than I am anyway, so I guess we could just kind of, roll with that, right? But I swear we're going to be loading into the game at some point. If anybody wants to donate some computers to us, I don't think we'd say no, right? I'd take a new computer any day of the week on this one, but we're just filling some time here. Hope everybody out there's having an excellent Tuesday. One of my favorite days. It's kind of in the middle of the week, but it's not late enough in the week that you're super tired yet with the work. You got a couple of days under your belt, feeling pretty good, and we're going to move on from calendar discussions, because we're now on to the Rift. Look at the cinematic, folks. This is remarkably exciting stuff. As Howling eSports League, there it is. In case you had any questions about where we're at. Also, we're not asking for donations. I was just saying, if you got a computer lying around, I guess we'd take it, right? So be sure to actually don't donate. Do not donate us your hard-earned dollars and or currency, depending on where your currency is. But look, Ventum, I'm just making stuff up right now. Okay, we're on to the Rift right now. We're going to move on from discussions of donations, and we are going to talk about this ward that has been put down, as it's going to be cleared out. So we're no longer talking about the ward because it's not there anymore, and Radovan gets a little bit screwed over there. Doesn't get any gold, even though he tried to kill the ward, so that's a little bit unfair for him. No money in his pocket, but that's a 20 gold lead already in favor of Fantastic. They're really cooking, right? I mean, they have a gold lead, and that is not something that you want to trifle with, right? When you got more gold, you're a little bit stronger. You got that 1 CS as well, right? Schnotty's saying, I have infinitely more CS than you do, Jakul. What are you going to do about it? And, that's really a power move going into lane, I feel, is is having that one extra CS for him there. Going to make his CS numbers just a little bit stronger. Also, the vision denial is quite important, as we can go back to a little bit more serious commentary here. But no ward going down just kind of means you won't be able to tell quite where this Olaf is, and that's really important against Olaf, knowing where that pathing is. This ward up at the tri-bush will stop a very early gank, but it's not going to stop a later, level 3, level 4 gank. Might have to hold that thought as Radovan is taking a lot of damage. Trading back onto Pantoufle, though, has the Corrupting Pot on, whereas this Yone does not. So eventually is going to lose out on that health trade. Level 2 as well so far. So keeping himself a little bit safe, and then has teleport as well if he has a bit of a mishap and goes down. Sadly for him, keeping himself safe for now, but could see some more engages coming in later on in this game as Niaz is just getting out of dodge. A very nice dredge line. He could have been in a lot of trouble. Level 2 coming through for Zizzy and Lycro. I like the attempt to punish, but very smart by Niaz to get himself away with that dredge line. Looking towards the summoners, we do have that cleanse coming through in favor of Dirty Up on the Ashe that I asked for, and I am very excited to see the lethal tempo. I'm going to call it lethal rage in this game at some point, and I do apologize for that. Lethal tempo coming through for Lycro could be that build I was talking about earlier, but Radovan now in a lot of trouble in the mid lane. He might be the best mid in EU according to the chat, but he is actually going to survive. Caster Curse the opposite direction. Radovan getting himself away. Has to use the flash, but Kenobi flashed as well, as did Pantoufle use the Ignite. So actually a summoner win for Radovan. Going to toss himself in the recall. He has teleport to get back to lane as well. So in the end, a 2 for 2 summoner-wise. But going to miss a little bit of farm. Pantoufle getting himself away, has survived the early levels of Orianna auto-attacking annoyance, as Radovan teleporting himself back into the lane. Should be able to collect a bit of CS. Scuttle now being picked up by Antonio, excuse me. A little bit of a nice lead for him. He's cleared 6 camps versus the 3.5 for Kenobi. Of course, Kenobi was ganking, so didn't quite work out for him. Olaf, not a champion you want to get rolling, but fighting the bot lane. Dredge line going to land on the Lycro, getting himself away with a 90 caliber net. Should be fine, but takes some damage. No junglers in the area. Everybody has survived for the time being. But this is a lane that I think is quite explosive. You have double engaged supports, and so they want to fight, right? Not way under tower necessarily, but if you can land a hook on the enemy AD carry, you can definitely try to go all in. On this one, Jakul could be in trouble here. This could be what a great play. Antonio throws the undertow. And that was remarkably less exciting than first blood in the bot lane. Gonna have to hold that thought. Zizzy and Lycro just kind of walking into the jungle. Kenobi, he's saying, you can strike me down, I'll come back stronger. I'm not sure he's going to be coming back a whole lot stronger. He's lost his blue buff. And that's going to be another engage coming through. I don't know if you want to fight this. Caitlyn has blue buff available, though. Naya's getting himself away. Nice pilt over Peacemaker. Trying to make some peace. Ironic, isn't it, though? The Peacemaker does damage, so that doesn't make a lot of sense, game. Who designed this champion? Antonio could be flashing over the wall. This seems a little bit aggressive. I think just try to go for the camp. Instead, Pantoufle, though, taking a lot of damage. Antonio, you can tell he's thinking about it, right? He's thinking about going over this wall. Pantoufle trying to go back in, actually, for a bit more than he bargained for. Able to get a nice trade, but the potion is ticking for Radovan, so I think he's going to be just fine for now. Level 6 is coming up very soon for these Soul Inners. We could see the Stand United be quite big as well. Dredge line in the bot lane just a little bit short as Kenobi is trading back those Raptors. Getting a little bit more farm for himself. The first dragon is on the map. It's that Cloud Dragon. Here's the replay. Oh, they got a ward over the wall. Kenobi just dies where he stands. That was just brutal, Lycro just killed over Peacemaker straight to the face. Gets the blue buff. That's actually big for Caitlyn. Hold that thought. Mid lane, party time. Once again, Radovan getting himself out to safety. Pantoufle forced to go back to the shadow of himself. I don't actually know what that's called. If anybody knows in the chat what that is it a clone? Is it a shadow? Is it a something else? Let me know if you're more familiar with the champion than I am. Cool. A little bit of trading in the top lane with Schnotty, but they've just been kind of keeping even farm. Schnotty up a little bit. Nobody, I don't think, going to be going down anytime soon. The hijack Stand United doesn't do anything in the lane, so isn't really able to gain a lot of power from the ultimate on that one. So he does now have Stand United. Pantoufle has killed Radovan off screen in the 1v1. The same exact thing that we saw last game, actually. Red side, Yone, level 6, goes in with Ignite, and the ultimate gets the kill. Hopefully we can get a replay of that. But that's concerning if you're Fantastic Esports that your mid laner is losing that hard. It also opens them up for the Dragon, although Kenobi probably loses this 1v1. if Antonio decides to walk down. Take a look at that. Is he just going to blast over the wall? We saw the blast come over the wall randomly last game. It didn't really work out so well. I don't think he's going to be able to find anything here. Just grouping up with his team. They're going to be a little bit late to this party. Oriana's here, though. I think they could actually look to go for this fight. Undertow goes way wide. I'd have to recalibrate the compass on that one. But walking away. Here's this replay. They're both level 5. They're going to hit level 6, presumably. Let's take a look. One more auto. One more creep should do it here from Pantufle. Level 6. Shockwave of 3. He doesn't have any mana. Radovan, no mana. Hits level 6. What a great combo, actually, by Pantufle. That was beautifully played by him, picking up that kill. Really getting himself back into the lane, too, because he is down some CS. So that's great for him to get that kill, getting some more gold into his pocket, evening up that gap. Has the boots now. Attack speed, very important on Yone. Very similar to Yasuo, once again. Just looks a little bit flashier, so able to get those boots through. Oriana just going for a little bit of an amplification tome situation. Maybe trying to start a library. I'm not too sure. As trying to get some punishment down, but Yone just doesn't take a lot of damage, right? He's not really taking the punishment. Zizzy's now in the mid lane. Antonio going around as well. This could be the 3 versus 1, but he has flash. Pantufle, with that summoner still available, I think he'll survive this gank unless he goes in to them straight away, but the shockwave is down onto him. Caster Curse immediately. He is not going to be surviving this one. You have to feel not going to be able to do it. Radovan picking up the kill. No assist, actually, for Zizzy. That's kind of unfortunate. Schnotty forced to run away in the top lane, but a nice trade back onto the Yone, trying to shut him down before he gets too strong. I think very, very smart. They saw what happened last game, presumably. You do not want that snowball to be coming through. Kenobi trying to clear out the wave in the mid. I don't know how great this idea is. He's kind of wasting a lot of time, not getting that much farm. And Radovan has a pretty free punishment onto him, but I don't think it matters a whole lot in the end. Bot lane, let's take a look at the items. Double AD component for Lycro on the Caitlyn, BF Sword, and the Pickaxe. So that's quite strong for him. He has a lot of AD, putting in a lot of punishment. The Cutlass feels okay against this. It feels okay against the BF Sword. It doesn't feel great against both. Just doesn't have the same level of power as this Caitlyn does right now. Also a nice XP lead for Lycro. So sitting pretty in the bot lane, has that 1 kill to his name, excuse me. Doing very well for himself down there. I think this lane, without assistance, will continue to go in favor of Fantastic Esports. I don't think they can really be killed in the 2v2 at this point in the lane. Of course, I'll probably be proved wrong in 2 minutes. But we also might see walk into the jungle. I think they were just trying to find Kenobi. Maybe they thought that he was down there. But they don't find him. Nothing harmed. Pantufle, a nice ward goes down, but it is spotted out. Kind of go into a little bit of a farming phase for a little bit here. The Rift Herald started up by Antonio. And another reminder to stay hydrated out there. We're going to take another sip unless we have another fight. Sip has been taken, and we're out of that into the picture in the top lane. It's the 1 versus 1. Shen versus Jakul. The flash forward trying to go back in. We're still in the picture. Hope you guys can see that. Hope you're on the high enough quality, but the heal could be coming through for him relatively shortly as we could see a gank at the bottom. No, Kenobi is in the area. Ultimate is available. They're going to go in for it. Enchanted Crystal Arrow landing straight on to the support. Lycro flashing himself away to get away from the depth charge, though. Oh, the hook goes a little bit wide. Zizzy trying to flash himself away, but there finally is the Stormbreaker. Can they turn this one around? Lycro trying to do so much. The trap. Stand United as well. It's Kenobi that's now in so much trouble. He's going to be taken down. Lycro picking up the kill. Will have the ace in the hole available if they can get a little bit lower. I'd like to see him go in a bit more. Every summoner used by Fantastic, 0 summoners used by Galactic. They didn't even need him. They didn't have him to save the day. Pantufle now maybe going in. Antonio could be coming over the wall with the flash. There it is over the wall. The Ragnarok is available. It's going in onto Pantufle. 1 more undertow. Oh, they're all going wide. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Lycro has picked up the kill with that ace in the hole onto Dirty Up. Fantastic Esports across the map, finding some advantages for themselves. They're onto this mid lane tower. This could be Herald as well. This could be the entire first tower going down, folks, if there is no assistance. Kenobi here to provide some of it, but they're going to be losing a lot of plates. That's the Herald now spawned up. It's going to charge. We'll take down 2 plates. It's the fight, actually. Antonio taking so much damage, but he's going to be just fine. He is Olaf, of course, fighting the bot lane. Lycro, he's just killing him so fast, we're not even getting to see him. He's now against Jakul. This could go badly. Does he have the trap in his pocket? You gotta trap yourself, sir. Put the trap on yourself. Oh, nice dodge from the sun. Can he run back towards his trap? This is Caitlyn Mechanics, folks. 101. Put the trap on yourself. He must not have any of them available. Gonna get shot down by his own ultimate. You have to feel. Oh, there it is. It feels so bad, but it doesn't do enough damage. Not enough AP on Jakul. Lycro survives 4-0 on the Caitlyn in clear position. to take over this game on Caitlyn. This feels so good if you are the Sheriff of Piltover. Staying around, I don't know about this plan. This seems like you're asking to get hit just by Ashe ult and die, but maybe he knows something I don't on this one. But Pantoufle trying to trade with Schnotty. Now they have switched up the lane assignments just a little bit. Pantoufle hanging out in the top lane for the time being. 5,000 gold lead right now in favor of Fantastic Esports, and that is massive. It's going to balloon even more. First tower taken in the mid lane solo by Radovan. That's 600 gold in his pocket. Very scary for this Orianna, who is a little bit behind after, giving up first blood. That could be a bit of a problem, but he gets some gold back for himself, equivalent of 2 kills. Dragon time started up. It's the Ocean Dragon on the map. Has been started up. Be sure to hydrate, everybody. Very important. Down to 2,000. Not going to be contested by Fantastic Esports. They're able to pick up their first dragon of the game, evening up the score. 1-1 in that regard. Should be good for them to stop the Dragon Soul. I don't think the Soul will be an important part of this game once again. It would be 15 minutes, but we're going to have to hold that thought. Fight in the bot lane. Depth charge. Dredge line. All the ultimates coming through. Lycro doesn't stand a chance. Dirty Up taking so much damage, but it is Antonio coming into the fight. Zizzy, can he survive long enough for this Olaf to arrive? Ragnarok is available. He could be going in with the undertow. I think you go for this fight. Oh, it would have been so much fun, but it's not going to be fun. He's not a for fun player. Antonio just walks away. I think you win that fight super easily. I guess not. But he just walks away and gets red buff. Bot lane goes down. That's a nice pick for Galactics, evening up the gold a little bit, shutting down this Caitlyn. Everything in the kitchen sink thrown onto her. They knew that she didn't have any cooldowns available, and that turned out to be a very, very nice fight for them. Picking up a couple of kills, trying to get this Ashe back into the game, because right now she is just not getting a whole lot done. Top lane, Schnotty is really giving it to Jakul right now. He kind of missed the stun. There's a nice heal for himself, but these Q autos hurt. There's the Shadow Dash. Can he pull through with the Q? The stun goes wide again. Jakul in so much trouble. One more auto attack. Schnotty just popping off on the Shen. That's not what I expected to see at all in this lane. But that's all that she wrote on that one. Jakul, I questioned this in Champ Select. I think for good reason. The Shen, very, very strong dueling. Shen's Q hurts, especially if the sword gets pulled through. That's how that works. Giving him shield that got buffed as well recently. A very nice play so far by them. Schnotty bringing it to Jakul. No teleport as well. He's going to lose some farm from that one. Speaking of farm, Antonio over the 100 mark now. He's got into the 3 digits. That's always very important. Could be going with the gank onto Pantoufle here. As we're going to just try to bring the hype down a little bit. I don't need to yell the whole time. You know, I'm used to doing play-by-play. Used to yelling a lot, but we can bring the volume down just a little bit in order to save the voice. A shade on this one, as nothing's really happening right now. Pushing the mid lane. Coming through for Fantastic Esports to trying to secure some jungle for themselves, and we grab this blue buff, which has really just been living on their backs all game. Antonio and Zizzy on this one should be taken down. Smite is used by Antonio to secure that objective. Kenobi going to have to go without his blue buff. Not sure he wants to walk over to the Gromp. Was the scene of his first perishing earlier on in this game, but let's see a replay of this. There's really not a lot to break down here, other than Jakul misses everything and Schnotty hits everything. The Q comes through. That's so much damage. The taunt right there. Beaten onto him. He's going to pull the Q through again, I think. Missing the E from Jakul, doesn't have the heal available, and just goes down. Pretty simple 1v1, essentially. We're back at it again, though, in the top lane. Schnotty up 2 levels as well. I didn't really notice that earlier, but Jakul, even with the heal coming through, it's just not enough. The Bramble Vest giving him so much reduction with those grievous wounds coming through. Fantastic Esports in a very nice position right now. Back to 5,000 gold lead, even after losing a couple of kills. They're in a great place right now to win this game. Honestly, you know, they have a very strong Caitlyn if she can keep herself safe in the team fights. Actually, going to hold that thought. Party time in the top lane. Schnotty and Pantoufle. Schnotty getting jumped on by Pantoufle. Doesn't stand a chance. Enchanted Crystal Arrow just for sure. Oh, tell a lie, Pantoufle. I'm just not used to the Yone going back right to the Shadow Solar Flare as well to extricate Schnotty from this situation. Antonio's here as well. Kenobi, has he chased too far? Claps could be coming down on Niles this year. Antonio, he's got to watch himself in this one. Don't want to go too aggressive. Backing himself away. What a great escape. Not used to Yone just zooming out of there. Committed a little bit too hard. Maybe he should have thrown that Ignite down. I think would have found the kill. In the end, it's not quite enough. Schnotty and Pantoufle now going at it in the top lane. There's the Ignite. Finally, though, Schnotty does go down just as I called for it. Picking up that kill. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Radovan, you are way out of position, my good sir. Taken down as well. GX looking to fight back. Honestly, in this game, they're not looking like they're ready to roll over and die, like we saw in the last game. These teams are fighting it till the very end. That is definitely what you like to see. They're going to go for the Herald right now, but Antonio and Lycro are still alive. These are the main carries. Of course, Lycro's in the bot lane, actually, so just kidding on that front. Antonio, I mean, you could argue he could run in here with his ult on and try to steal this. They might go for this. They were wasting a lot of time not to, but I guess they do just decide to back themselves away. That makes sense. You do want to not throw your lead away. Let's watch this play in the top lane. Once again. Shoddy getting jumped on. Ultimate expended. Arrow goes a little bit wide. And just goes back. Shoddy able to get himself away. We're going to see the Solar Flare come through right now. This is very well done by Zizzy. Right on the Kenobi's head. Not able to get anything done there. Shoddy walks himself away. Unfortunately, just kind of goes back to the top lane and dies once again to the Ignite of the Yone that I wanted to be used, but survived for a good long time, so he can feel proud of himself for that. Now in a 1 versus 3, I think he'll get dove here. Maybe not. Actually, those probably kill his turret, I would imagine. Nia's going for the stopwatch now. They are going to go for the dive. Kenobi under the tower. Does he have the Q shield to keep himself safe? The tower's now been turned off. Not going to be enough. Another kill on a killing spree now. Dirty up on this Ashe. Looking to be quite strong. Doesn't go for the Manamune build this game. Going for a little bit more early game damage forward type of build with the Blade of the Ruined King. We just haven't seen Lycro getting anything done in fights recently. He's been getting one shot when he is in them, and he just hasn't really been around these skirmishes. It's been more skirmish focused than it has been big team fight focused. The Dragon does go over in favor of Fantastic Esports, so they're able to continue that trend. Now 10 minutes away from an Infernal Soul that is starting to be win condition. Radovan now in a lot of trouble with the bot lane. The Shockwave comes through, an Ice Flash as well. Does he have the damage to keep himself safe? Oh, the Stand United on his back, flipping the script. I don't think he actually needed it, but better safe than sorry. Jakul is scratching his head right now, but he's scratching it in the Death Chamber in the Gray Screen Simulator. Nice play overall there by Radovan as we go back into Color Catcher Carl, but we're going to go right back into the play-by-play. The trap's going down. Oh, but it's not perfectly placed. Lycro, that's not going to pick up the kill for you, bud. Oh my god, that actually did a lot more damage than I was anticipating it would do. That's that 80 Caitlyn build. Oh, that trap. You have to put the trap on the member. He's stunned. He's not going anywhere. I'm the one scratching my head off of that play, but that's okay. He's tried his best. Pantoufle got himself out with the flash, so going to be safe, but apologies for that. Just got slightly distracted, but we're back on it right now as my screen has frozen. I'm not sure what we have going on with that situation. Are we? I could just cast the pretend game. Like, oh, we're back. We're back. Praise be, and we didn't miss anything, so that's kind of exciting. We're a little bit more zoomed in now, getting a little more intimate view on the Rift, you know. Really getting to know these champions. That's pretty important. But Shoddy and Pantoufle in the bot lane going head-to-head. Should be pretty exciting. Blue buff. Maybe you can get taken over by Radovan there, so that's pretty fun as well. And a ward cleared out. Woo! If we were in the LCS or the LEC right now, everybody cheer, you know, when the ward goes down, so that's pretty exciting. It's kind of like the fake crowd noise that we have at like sporting events now. It's just, I think in the LEC and LCS, they should just pump in the spectators cheering every time the ward goes down. I think that would be pretty fun, but we missed some trading in the bot lane while I was rambling on about wards. Taking some damage. Both those members, Shoddy and Pantoufle, down to about 40%, but gentleman's agreement, they've backed themselves away. Should be just fine to continue as another water break for me. We'll be right back after this delicious sip of water. Be sure to hydrate. All right, we're back from the hydration. Very important. Zizzy walking forward. Solar Flare is available, but decides not to go for any type of a play there. Jakul right now is just kind of unanswered in the top lane, so that could be a problem come Dragon time. We seem to have lost our objective timers, so I'm pretty sure the Dragon's coming up in about 2 minutes, because I think I said there was a 27-minute soul. Oh, I'm right. 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Thank you so much to the production folks. Got those timers back for us here. So 2 minutes until the Infernal Dragon comes down. That's a pretty important Dragon for GX to fight. I don't think you want to put Fantastic Esports on Soul Point. That's just not really ever the goal. Because there's so much risk, you know, you go for the steal, as I'm kind of liking the hyperspeed into slow speed. It's kind of fun, you know, a little bit change of pace here speed-wise, so you do like to see that for sure, but it looks like we're back to pretty much normal gameplay. That's what we do like to see. In the end of the day, Pantoufle now being shuffled up into the top lane. We see the Infinity Edge going to be the next item for him. 1.5 items on both mid laners. Items across the board relatively similar, except for the AD carry position. It's not really except for the AD carry position. They're just much more expensive items that Lycro has coming through with the Storm Razor and the Infinity Edge. about 1,000 gold more expensive, so he is kind of ahead in power there. The jungle as well, a nice lead for Antonio. Over Kenobi, who's had kind of a flat game, to be honest with you, on the Volibear. The champion names today are just really escaping me. We might see a party in the mid lane, 3 versus 2. Lycro backing away in the nick of time to survive that fog of war. Nice Scryer's Bloom. They actually only see one member. He could be walking into his death. Oh, his AD carry has just abandoned him as well. A great flash. You have to flash immediately. He did know he was in danger of the commit of that summoner. Very well done. Keeps himself safe. Should be safe for the dragon spawning in 45 seconds. Nice control of the area there for FE right now. Looking to get some control on this one before it spawns up. Lycro clearing out the creeps in the mid. Undertow being rolled through at the same time, so some nice vision down as well. A couple of controllers. There's one ward behind that Jakul potentially could TP to. We'll see if he does decide to go for that choice, but that's the Enchantress arrow in the middle, hitting on to Lycro, the best target possible. He could be going down to the Stand United on his back. Will he survive in time? No, he will not. Pantufla is now out of this fight, but he will be driving himself back in. Zizzy has fallen, teleport in a little bit late from the Shen after the Stand United did get canceled. He's going to probably just go down after he comes into this one. 3 versus 4, going terribly right now for Fantastic Esports, just falling apart at the seams. Antonio throwing them over the wall. Can they get the dragon in time? I think maybe he just started up. Maybe not going to have the time to do that, trying to extricate themselves from this situation. Schnotty now running for the hills. 4 versus 3. You can't contest it. They're just going to have to give this dragon up. It's going to be 2-2. Another 10 minutes. Oh, Pantufla going back in. He's going to go right back, though. That's a taunt going to land on him. He could be going down. They might actually look for this fight right now. Can he get it, Antonio? Oh, he steals the dragon. Oh, my lord. What a play. Jakul going down as well. It's a great series of events for Fantastic Esports. Another Shadow Dash comes through. Dirty up trying to get the kill on to Radovon. Is going to be able to do so. Schnotty going to get taunted away, or get kited out, I should say. The slow is onto him. When's the dash available? It's not early enough. A double kill coming through for Kenobi. A great fight for GX, but Fantastic Esports, they keep the dream alive of that soul point. They get the 3rd dragon. They're onto that soul point. Fight goes reasonably well in their favor as well. That was quite a fight. We gotta calm down a little bit from that one. But overall, Fantastic Esports, not a good fight at the start. Lycro picked off immediately. You have 0 chance to win this fight without the Caitlyn. Actually winning that fight, straight up, which they of course did not. They backed themselves away. They're able to find a nice pick on to, we're actually going to see it here. We're going to show the replay of the second part of this fight. Pantufla goes way too aggressive. Great presence of mind by Schnotty to realize he was going back. Taunt onto him, he pick up the kill. Now it's a 3 versus 3. The dragon's low. Flash by Antonio. The smite as well. Beautifully played. There was actually no smite by Kenobi. He didn't have it up from the fight. Must have used it on a member. The fight continued. Dirty Up does so much work. Radovon gets picked off. The stun from Kenobi is just a little bit too much. And then Schnotty's not able to chase onto this Ashe. Kite's too strong. Lightning as well. Just kind of goes down. In the end, it doesn't really matter how many kills went over because they got the dragon. They're still on soul point. Really good thing that GX was able to pick up that one dragon earlier, because it would have been the soul otherwise. So that's very important. Gold lead is now roughly 4K, so a little bit lower than it was earlier, which is to be expected. Obviously, coming through for them, as I completely lost my train of thought. Let's just start over on this one. Jakul could be in some trouble here on the bot lane. Maybe a little bit caught out. Can he get himself out to safety? We're going to have to see. Running himself away from Shen. I expect that's the Shadow Dash that just came through with the energy usage in the bot lane. Flash away from Jakul. That's a lot of members. Inside track. Now on the mid lane for GX. They're looking to push down this turret. They have gotten one. Can they go for anything more? Lycro has to keep himself in the back line. Kenobi going forward. This could be the fight that they want to take, but it looks like it's going to be disengaged very successfully. Lycro and Antonio now clearing out the wave. Could just be the rotation up to top lane. I think they're just going to clear out some vision, though, instead. So GX getting some control of the Baron area. They've weathered the Gold Storm a little bit more, although it has a lot of it's been traded back in the mid lane. That farm coming through at control now, actually, in favor of FE. We're just swinging back and forth. Dirty Up takes a lot of damage from the ace in the hole. Perfect usage of that. Undertow's rolling through as well. Inside track on this mid lane tower. This is a very nice play by Fantastic Esports, but we might see a team fight around this. I would expect we will, actually. Schnotty backing himself away. Jakul in the area. Cupcake stepped on by Kenobi. A bit of disengage comes through for Fantastic Esports. They decide not to push for that turret, backing themselves away for a little bit of a regroup. They just need to fight over this dragon, right? They have 2 minutes. They need to take this fight. They're going to have the flashes available. Schnotty, Antonio, Lycro, Zizzy, they're all going to have flash. Everybody in the game is going to have flash, I think, except for Kenobi and Radovon. I don't think those two will have it available. But other than that, it's going to be a full summoner team fight. This is likely going to be the fight that decides the game, I would say. If Dirty Up goes down, likely GX will lose the fight. If Lycra goes down, likely FE will lose the fight. So watch for those AD carries. Watch for the dive to come through. Can Shnadi keep his team alive? Will he be in the fight? Also a very important question. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds. I would expect to see virtually no fighting until then, just because nobody wants to be going down. Shnadi might trade a little bit with Jakul, but I don't think that will make a whole lot of difference. Everybody backs away. Wave's being cleared to set up for this dragon. Mid lane. A little bit of tempo gain right now for Fantastic Esports as they are able to push out with the build over Peacemaker. Lycra has quite a lot of wave clear. In general, the Q unfortunately doesn't quite take down the creeps, but at 3.5 items, he has the Executioner's Calling, has 3 items. If he stays safe, this should be a very easy fight and end of the game for Fantastic Esports. If he's not able to stay safe, this game could take a whole lot longer if the dragon goes over in favor of GX. So I think the soul is really a win condition for Fantastic Esports and more of a not lose condition if you are the side of Galactics, because you really just need to not let the soul go over. Getting this dragon is not going to win you the game if you're a Galactic Esports, right? It's going to not lose you the game if you're able to secure it. So I think this is really a make or break moment in this game with this team fight. That being said, if Galactics is able to win a fight and then go for the Baron, I think it could be quite strong. Could be a game ender, potentially, if they're able to get it and then push down, win one more fight, and kind of end with it. I don't think that's what will happen, even if they do get the Baron, just because they have been kind of on the back foot. But I think a lot of things could go down at this dragon. The flashes are available for nearly every member. Jakul does not have it, unfortunately. The only member, Radovan, in 2 seconds will have his available. This could be a very explosive fight. Dragon Dance started up just a little bit. Not really, actually. Vision in the area in favor of GX right now. But FE not willing to give in lightly. Antonio running forward. Dirty Up could be a little bit caught. Gonna get hit by the ace in the hole. That's gonna hurt him. He will heal up shortly, though, if he's able to find some auto attacks. Got lifesteal from the Blade of the Rune King. Dragon now started up by Antonio. The fight is going to commence. The Lycra in the backline trying to keep himself safe. Is he going to be going down? He's flashing himself away. He has the Sandy United on his back. He's going to be okay. Niall's taking so much damage, but he's not the focused target that you want. Lycra trying to heal up off the creeps. Jakul, you got to put the trap down onto the body. Yes, he will. There's the kill. Jakul is gone already. Nice. Not going to quite land. Shockwave as well. Trying to go onto Pantufla. They've shut down the Ash. This fight is going all in favor right now of the side of FE. Kenobi trying to turn it back with the Zenith Blade. Does land onto him. Radovan is the Shadow Dash there. He doesn't even need it. The auto attack. He's an Orianna. He doesn't have Shadow Dash. I don't know what I'm watching, but Antonio's going to pick up the soul for his team. This should be Fantastic Esports with a pretty easy run toward the end of the game. I don't know if they'll be able to end right now, but they have the Infernal Soul in their pocket now, able to clear out the waves a little bit faster, more damage in the fights as well. Flashes in that fight were very, very important. Jakul didn't have his, went down very early. Lycra was able to flash out and get the Standing United on his back. That was all that he needed to keep himself alive, doing so much damage. 4 items now on this Caitlyn. They're going to get the inhibitor. They're going to back themselves away, probably put some purchases in, and I would expect look toward the Baron, win one fight there, and then win the game. That's your win condition right now. You have that soul. As long as you play smart, you should be winning these fights. Apologies for the break, everybody. Got to keep the vocal cords hydrated if I want to keep yelling these fights out to you fine folks, so I hope you don't mind too much on that one. Here's the replay of this fight. Lycra gets engaged. I think he just needs to flash over the wall immediately. Instead, flashes himself out, keeps himself safe. That's all he needs, really. He's not dead right now. Doesn't matter how low he is. He's able to free fire in the back. The trap goes down onto Jakul here. Gets the one shot onto him. Now he just has to run for the hills. The Zenith Blade goes a little bit wide. That's a huge crit onto the Ash, right? Headshot crit coming through. Completely blows up that AD carry. He finally goes down, but it's just too late, right? Maybe it saves the game, actually, but it doesn't matter for the fight. Double kill comes through in favor of Radovan. Dirty Up, stepping on that trap. I don't want to say it's unforgivable. It's a big mistake. You have to not get taken down. In the bot lane, Jakul just gets ripped to shreds. Shnadi picking up the guilt. Look at that health bar. He is styling in the bot lane, has the red buff and the Infernal Soul. This could be the Dragon, or the Baron started up almost immediately, I would expect. Jakul's not here. Yeah, there it is. And they're now on towards it. Stand United, I should say, excuse me, is available. So, this is a 5 versus 4 all the way. They have the soul as well. They're going to kill that ward to deny all the vision. Kenobi at some point is just going to have to go in. That's a teleport. Shnadi wants to be right on this fight. They're trying to deny vision. They don't want it to be a 50-50. Hawkshot comes across. That is that vision gain. Can they get Kenobi off the pit? He is finally away. They go for the commit. They do pick up that Baron. They have the Infernal Soul and they have the Baron on their backs. Kenobi and Niles now running themselves out for the kill. Shockwave not quite going to land. A nice Stormbringer by Kenobi to get himself away. Shnotty following on the chase with the Shadow Dash, just trying to buy a little bit of time. I think you can just run it down mid with the Baron buff, with the Infernal Soul. Try to go for the end. You're 8,000 gold in the league. This is the time to look for the fight. Even if it's a 5v5 on the Nexus Towers, I think they could look for the end of the game. Undertow's rolling through Jakul. Steals the ultimate from Zizzy. That's the Solar Flare on his back. Looks like they're going to just go for the back, which I'm a little bit disappointed to see. Actually, here is the fight. Antonio in all sorts of trouble, going to get hit up. There is the Ragnarok. Can he keep himself alive? Yes, he can. Pantufla going to have to go back, but he is very low. Lycra now firing over the wall. Antonio did finally go down, but Lycra is completely safe. Going to get hit by the depth charge, but it's not going to be enough. The true Solar Flare comes across. That's a lot of damage. Kenobi is finally down, and this is just free hitting team for Fantastic Esports. They're running over the fight. Shnotty over the wall. Zenith Blade not quite going to land, but that's a huge ace in the hole. Lycra is Nias in jail. He's saying, I'm the sheriff, and you come back to the law. Dirty up into Jakul. Now the only members left alive. The Nexus Tower is going down very quickly. The second Nexus Tower is going to be the focus target. The Baron buff minions are beating down onto it as well, and it takes 32 minutes. But it is Fantastic Esports saying we are trying to move into a playoff position. We're trying to go 6-5. They are able to pick up the win over Galactic Esports. What a great game there by Fantastic Esports. You know, it looked a little bit shaky overall. It didn't look great, but in the end, it was enough. They were able to pick up the game for themselves. They are able to get the W, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? Is that you come up with the W. They're able to push themselves to 6-5. They should be in a playoff position at the end of the day. And that's what matters. We're going to step away as I calm down from that game. We're going to return in 5 minutes shortly with an interview with Shnotty, the MVP on the Shen from that game. Definitely popping off, helping his team. We'll be back in just 5 minutes. Don't touch that dial. Howling Esports returns in just a few.
The bow breaks, and I will fall. The ground shakes. The wind will shiver off. The world returns the same place without change. I will do the same and get out of your strain. Whoa. I can't forgive myself. Can't bottle up my memories. If only time will tell the truth and stop explaining the calm before the swell. I feel it in the melody. I will forget this hell and find my sweet serenity. Ignore the world at war. Just escape into a universe of senses. The world returns the same place without change. I will do the same and get out of your strain. I can't forgive myself. Can't bottle up my memories. If only time will tell the truth and stop explaining the calm before the swell. I feel it in the melody. I will forget this hell and find my sweet serenity. I can't forgive myself. Can't bottle up my memories. If only time will tell the truth and stop explaining the calm before the swell. I feel it in the melody. I will forget this hell and find my sweet serenity. Find my sweet serenity. Find my sweet serenity. Find my sweet serenity. Find my
My shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, your music gets me through the highs and lows. My head, shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, you're keeping me from feeling all alone. I've been praying to 1,000 different stars, to 1,000 different arms, till I found you. I've been chasing by 1,000 different hearts, or 1,000 million hours, now I found you. My nights will never be the same again. I got you running through my veins. I feel it in my head, my shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, your music gets me through the highs and lows. My head, my shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, you keeping me from feeling all alone.
Welcome back, everybody. Following the second game of the day, we are shortly joined here by Schnotty, the superstar on the Shen, and kind of off the screen, doing a lot of damage, winning a couple of 1v1s. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, thank you.
That's what we like to hear. Definitely do want to be in a good mood, especially after a win. That's what you would definitely expect. I want to talk about the Shen, obviously the champion you played in this game. We saw you coming up with a couple of 1v1s, couple of solo kills, doing very well in lane. How do you feel about Shen, like generally in the meta, and then also specifically his like kind of dueling potential, right? We've seen you picking up a lot of 1v1s. How dominant do you think Shen really can be in lane?
I think Shen is really, really strong, especially with the recent buff he got with his passive shield. His strength comes from the shield and his empowered Q, which is really important to winning trades. And some people are better and some people are worse at playing against Shen, so I think if you are able to punish his long cooldowns on E and W and that he doesn't have a combat ult in the 1v1, I think he can be beaten, of course. That's why he can be counterpicked, but I blind picked him because I was pretty confident, and I actually think the Sylas is not really one of the good counterpicks. It's just, I think it was mainly there for the ult. So I think I had a fairly good time on the lane.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like you did. How do you feel about Sylas top generally? I think we've seen it a couple of times in the league. It hasn't ever really looked good. Do you think this is just a super troll pick or just more a little bit niche? What do you think?
I don't really play it, but I think it can be good. But it's more like a pocket pick and situational. So you want to pick it if there's good ults, which in this case there were, but I mean, the matchup wasn't too good for him, and I feel like even though the kills were equal for some part of the game, we were in control most of the time, so in this situation it wasn't really the best case for a Sylas pick.
Yeah, for sure. It worked out very well for you, of course. Zooming out more generally about playoffs, you guys are now 6-5, pending the result of the upcoming game between Gaming Team Krivare and Laganma. You'll either be tied in a 3-way tie for third or a 2-way tie for third, which would put you one game into the playoffs. How confident are you in these remaining couple of games that you can secure the wins that you need to make the playoffs?
I think we're pretty confident. We had a rough start in the league, but now I think we found sort of our way to play. Even when we had a shaky game on Sunday, it was like more a bad day for us, but we found our way to play the game and how we play with each other, and I think we're really confident.
That's what we like to hear. Confidence is always good. Well, yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for the interview, and good luck in your future games.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
You too as well. I hope everybody out there is having a good start to their week. With that being said, we are going to step aside as we prepare for the third game of the day, which is going to be Gaming Team Krivare taking on Laganma, the leaders of the league, undefeated in series play so far. This is a game you do not want to miss. We'll be back in just a few.
My shoulders, knees and toes, my bones, your music gets me through the highs and lows. My head, shoulders, knees and toes, my bones, you're keeping me from feeling all alone. I've been praying to 1,000 different stars, to 1,000 different arms, till I found you. I've been chasing by 1,000 different hearts, or 1,000 million hours, now I found you. My nights will never be the same again. I got you running through my veins. I feel it in my head, my shoulders, knees and toes, my bones, your music gets me through the highs and lows. My head, my shoulders, knees and toes, my bones, you keeping me from feeling all alone.
Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes up. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Teardrops on the floor. The pain is over. Feel the darkness take control.
Welcome back, everybody, to day number 11 of Howling eSports League Season 1, presented by the Howling eSports organization. We are all set to go for the last game of the day. It's Gaming Team Kravare taking on Lauganma. Should be a good time. Looking forward to seeing Lauganma in action. They are always very fun to watch play. 8-2 so far, but again, those 2 losses are only due to forfeits. 2 days that they didn't have all the members available to play. So 8-0 in the games that they've played, and that is remarkably scary for a team. Also, they have a great logo. I don't, what's not to love about this team? We got the rosters on the screen. On the blue side, it's going to be Gaming Team Kravare. We got Mike in the top lane, Nedla in the jungle, Easy Ghost in the mid lane, Esco, Sama the AD carry, and Zaki the support position. On the side of Lauganma, it is Might 1 in the top lane. It's Ventum in the jungle, who I think was in the chat earlier. Shoutouts to Ventum. We have Christian in the mid lane, Jopa the AD carry, and Fico on the support position. This is a team that has stomped the competition in all the games that they've played, really beating up on Lethal Rage as well. I think this is a team that is definitely the clear favorite to take the championship here in Howling eSports. We should also remind everybody the prize pool for Howling eSports League Season 1 is 1,500 euros. Half of that going to the winner of the league, that's 750 euros, 500 euros to the second place, and 250 euros for the third place finisher in the league. So definitely some real money that is at stake. Definitely want to be trying hard. Definitely want to get the first seed. So I don't think we're going to see Lauganma really slacking at all, even though they are, 8-0. They've been kind of dominating the league so far. They've looked very, very strong. I think we will see them continuing to play their hardest. Of course, they're only 1 game ahead of Lethal Rage after they did win against Kingdom Serbia earlier. So I would expect them to be trying their best to come out on top in this game. But with that being said, that's enough rambling. I'm excited to see the draft. I hope you are too. Throw it to that intro. We'll be right back with the draft between Lauganma and Gaming Team Kravare. Welcome back, everybody, to the draft itself. GTK on the blue side and Lauganma on the red side. Didn't really mention Gaming Team Kravare is also 5-5, part of that kind of pack we saw at the start of the day. So if they are able to win this game, they will move up into a tie for third place, three-way tie for third place. And if they lose this game, they will unfortunately go down to 5-6 and be essentially in the bottom of the table, which is not what you want to see going into playoffs. Pretty good time for them. This is a very hard game, of course, for them to win. They are up against the titans of this league. They need to pull out the W if they want to go for this, and or if they want to go for the playoffs, I should say. I'm starting to lose my mind a little bit here, but it's going to be a hard game, right? If they want to win this one, it's not an easy time going against Lauganma. They just have looked so dominant. Every lane has been smashing, essentially, in all of Lauganma's games. This weekend, we thought it was going to be the really hype matchup up against Lethal Rage, and they kind of just got smoked. Lethal Rage did against Lauganma. It wasn't actually that close. Unfortunately, we didn't get to bring that on stream because it was the LEC finals. So a little bit questionable whether they're going to have any chance in this game, GTK, but you definitely still want to play the game out, of course. We'll see how it works out for him. We're into the draft. Bans have already come through. Ash picked up by Lauganma. That was allowed to sneak through. A couple of AD carry bans did go down, though. We saw the Caitlyn band out, the Callista band out, and the Senna band out. Mike picking up the Graves first for his team for Nedla. One of his main champs. Excited to see that. And it might be the Ash Lulu for the bot lane for Lauganma. Could be quite strong. Also, on the beverage watch, in case anyone was interested, I have upgraded to some tea. So I have some tea now up from the water. So that's pretty exciting. Ezreal Yumi has been locked in for GTK. So that's pretty exciting. Interesting bot lanes. Very, very strong. Both of them. The Ezreal Yumi got a little bit nerfed. So it's not as good as it used to be. Obviously, it used to kind of just like take over the game. Now it doesn't take it over as much. It just kind of a standard bot lane, I would say, more down in like that A tier as opposed to like S plus tier. The Ashe Lulu does a lot of auto attack damage. The buff from Lulu basically makes any AD carry very, very strong, obviously. And the auto attacks could come through in this lane. I think the Ezreal will just lose that war. Even in the early game, his abilities, they don't hurt that much, and they don't hurt enough to let him go toe-to-toe with this Ashe Lulu. I think in the 2v2, they're going to lose very hard to Ashe Lulu. It's an incredibly strong comp, incredibly strong Arrow of Champions in the bot lane. Now, if they get ganked, they could be in trouble from this Graves, but still, Graves can get turned on pretty easily with the shield on the Ashe's back. So I'm concerned about the bot lane right now for GTK, just off the front, just off the start of the draft, as the words are becoming hard. But the Karthus, I haven't talked about this, also left up, as Lilia also being Harvard. That could be exciting. I think the Karthus has to be the pick here. It's been left up. It's so strong. You kind of need a tank, but Lilia's not a tank either. The Kindred actually is the pick. I'm just getting baited all day today, and that's not really what you want to see. Azir picked up for the mid lane for GTK. Sion as well. That's a champion we have not seen in quite a long time coming up in the top lane. I think pretty strong. We have seen AD Sion becoming a weird thing in solo queue. I'm not really that sold on it, but maybe it's good. I think this game you have to go tank just because... sorry, everybody. I think you have to go tank. You can't just not have a tank, right? If you have no tank, you're kind of just going to lose. And you're against the Mordekaiser, too. I don't think AD Sion is going to be a whole lot of a good time. But I like the Kindred jungle as well for Ventum. Up against the Graves, can duel out the Graves eventually. If you dodge the Q, you can dodge the ultimate. There's a lot of mobility for Kindred, and she can also really stop the Shurima shuffle from being too bad. If she's able to get shuffled in and then ults herself, she can kind of walk out. And that's pretty exciting as well. So, should be a good time. I like the pick. However, if it gets behind, it's not great. You're kind of just an ult bot. Once you're, it's kind of like a Malphite or something. When you're super far behind, you're really just there for your ultimate. And that's not really what you want to be in the game. You want to get ahead, get those marks. Want to get the marks on yourself. When you get 4, that's really the time to be. As folks, we do have some good news. We are moving on from Beverage Watch. It's been Beverage Watch for the last 2 games. It's now Caster Watch, because I am Jarl Carl, and I am now joined by my co-caster for the day. It's Brian Baymax Custer. Welcome to the stream, sir. I believe he is here. Baymax, you with us? Baymax is muted. His Discord is trolling. Well, plot twist. No Baymax for now. That was somewhat anticlimactic. Apologize for that. Oh, he's not connecting. Okay, well, hopefully we get him in here in a moment. That was slightly unfortunate. Sorry about that, everybody. We do still have Beverage Watch, though. Don't worry about that. He's now left the channel. Well, hopefully he gets back at some point. He's here. Baymax, are you with us?
I am no longer awaiting an endpoint. I am here. My endpoint has been found. My RTC has connected.
That's what we like to see. Yeah. Hello. How you doing?
Hello?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh my God, I can't hear you. Hold on a second.
Oh dear. Well, he can't hear me. We're gonna figure this out. I promise. I can hear him, but back to the draft for a while. Eventually, he'll be able to hear me, and then he'll just hear me rambling on. So, the bot lane, I think, very much in the advantage of Laganma. I think the mid lane, pretty basic. I think this will be pretty much a draw. I think the top lane, I'm not super familiar with Sion, and I think it matters what kind of ability he goes for. If he goes to tank, he's not going to be winning this lane. And I think that being able to win the lane is something that they're needing to find on this team. I don't think GTK can win any of these lanes without a ton of jungle assistance. I don't see the mid lane being ever in favor. I think the bot lane's going to get smashed. The top lane as well. For Mike, maybe he goes AD Sion and just like smashes Might 1. I'm not really believing in that, so I think it's going to be up to Nedla if they're going to come out an advantage in the early game. Baymax is back in the channel for the 3rd time. Is he here, sir? Hello?
Oh my God. Yes. Hello? Hello, I hear you. Can you hear me? Are we good? I think we're good.
You're here. Welcome.
I'm here. Hey, hi. How's it going, guys? I am here. I am here. We're good. We got GTK versus Lagamma, and I think you're 100% right. GTK, I think they've drafted a team composition that doesn't really win anywhere until like the 25-30 minute mark, And that is really scary because you're playing against some champions that like to pop off a little bit before then. You're playing against an Orianna and a Mordekaiser, and even, like you said, the Ashe Lulu, a ton of pressure early on, a lot of potential to initiate with that Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Legamma can really just take the fight to GTK in those early levels, and that is exactly what they are good at, what they like to do, what they've won with in the past, if ever, in this league. So GTK, they're going to definitely have the work cut out for him here. I am scared. I think Legamma is going to continue their reign of terror.
Legamma is the only team in this league that has really looked like they have no chance of losing a game, right? Lethal Rage has clearly been vulnerable because if you really think about it, 8-0 versus 7-3 is a lot bigger than 8-2 versus 7-3. And I feel like we just can't really stress this enough that Legamma only has lost those games because they forfeited. They don't lose games in series. They are yet to be beaten, running right over Lethal Rage. I expect them to do the same in this game. I don't want to just give Gaming Team Cravare no chance, but realistically, in all the games that we've seen, Legamma has not given their opponents a chance. They're in a very great streak of form. Christian's been popping off. The bot lane's been doing very well. I think the bot lane is set up for a ton of success in this game. Gaming Team Cravare, honestly, I think they need to kind of pull out a miracle if they want to win this game.
We'll see. Like you said, Legamma, not technically undefeated, but only forfeit losses. And Ezreal, Yuumi, Azir, Sion, Graves, these champions are all good in their own right, and at least Graves can have a lot of impact early on. He's a relatively strong skirmisher. He's not great at he's not great at ganking. He's not great at actually taking the fight to the guys on Legamma, but he's good at holding his own. He's hard to invade, and he's hard to 1v1 and skirmish in the jungle, which is what you want if you're gonna have lanes that are pushed in. So GTK, they might be able to hold on, especially if they can find ways to stall those first couple jungle objectives. But a problem I see happening is basically when you're going for a draft like that, you're going for a strategy like that, you're putting yourself in a position where your barrier of execution is so very high because you have to know exactly how much you can give. You have to say, all right, I can give 5 inches but not 6 inches here. I can give 8 inches but not 9 inches, and just sort of constantly be straddling that line. And that's a line that GTK, maybe they can find some success trying to straddle that line, but maybe they can't because Legamma are so good at pushing with those leads that they have and taking just more and more and more. You've heard the phrase before, I'm sure, Carl, give an inch, take a mile. That is Legamma. That is exactly what they're going to do, or what they're going to try to do anyway, versus GTK. And it's scary.
I hope everybody brought their rulers today because Baymax is really going on in the inches. Also, be sure that you translate that into centimeters for the European audience. Baymax, very important. Of course, 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters for everybody out there. So, who knows about that? Yeah, maybe. Anyway, we're going to move on from the discussion of measurements and go back to talking about the game. We should be in the game relatively shortly here for Legamma versus GTK. Well, but we have a... Go ahead.
No, let's talk about what GTK can do here, because we talked a lot about Legamma being strong early, but GTK do have win conditions, right? The Ezreal Yuumi is very hard to engage on. Legamma, right? They have a relatively mid to late games focused team as well. Like Kindred scales, Orianna and Ashe especially, they scale really hard, and they aren't that strong early on. They aren't that great at forcing early on. Azir can farm pretty safely. Ezreal is a champion that's hard to force on, right? So the Enchanted Crystal Arrow is not likely to be enough versus an Ezreal who could dodge it rather easily. So I imagine that Esco and Zaki are probably going to be safe in this bot lane as we get onto the Rift. But, it's a matter of not only going to be safe in lane, but can you get those objectives under your control?
Certainly is. We'll have to see what the summoner spell choice is as well for the Ezreal, as we are no longer in the game. So hopefully we can get back to that relatively shortly. But looking forward to the summoner's choice on Esco. I think you probably go for the cleanse still for the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. I think you can afford to do it just because you have the Yuumi. There's not a lot of other CC to cleanse, which I think is a little bit harder to kind of deal with just because you're only taking it for an ability that you theoretically can dodge anyway. I don't think the cleanse would be a bad choice. I'm on the edge of my seat. I was very excited about this, and now we're kind of chilling, watching whatever we're watching right now. So hopefully we get back into the game here shortly.
Let's talk about the draft some more.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Okay. Oh, no, we're here. We're good. We're back in it.
Plot twist, we're back out of the Rift, and he does not have cleanse. He has teleport. I don't hate this choice. I think if there was like a Sejuani, with a Sejuani or something, I think cleanse makes sense. Here, I think the teleport's fine. You're gonna have a lot more lane pressure in a lane where you might kind of get shoved in a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like there's like you mentioned, no Sejuani. There's really only one cleansable ability on Lagama. It's all about that crystal arrow. And the thing is, Esco is Ezreal. He should be able to dodge it anyway. He's got his arcane shift for that. There's not really any other major threats. And having that teleport allows him to have just that much more lane pressure, that much more potential to get back to lane. Although, oh my god, look at this damage he's taking in the bot lane. Fico and Jopa just taking the fight just to Esco and Saki so early on.
Yeah, glad he's got the teleport, right? Because he's gonna need it. The flash forward, that might have been a little overeager from Fico. Doesn't have Ignite, so I thought he might be going for the flash Ignite. But the thumbs up in the end, he's laughing it off for himself there. Flash for flash and heal, so still a summoner advantage actually by going in for that play. This lane pressure is insane. Esco, one more auto deck should be enough. He's gonna get taken down. First blood in favor of Jopa.
And Lagama already, I said they might wait till level 6, but Jopa is just going at it. That was so much aggression so early on, and I love it. There's nothing GTK can do. Top lane as well, as we shift over. It's a little bit of farming, but, okay. That basically, that tells me what I need to know about the bot lane. That's about how that's going to go. I think Lagama have just set the pace for the rest of the game on the bot half of the map, so I'm looking mid lane. We've seen Easy Ghost on the Azir do good things before. We've seen him. Oh, hello?
Question mark?
Am I back? I think I'm here. Are you there, Kyle?
You're here. A little bit of a robot, but
oh, I don't know why that.
I'm
would
also.
be. Okay,
we seem to be having some Discord problems today. I'm not too sure. We're back. Maybe.
I think we're back.
Woo!
But I'm gonna quickly out of the point I was making, then you can keep going. But what I was gonna say is I think Fico and Jopa have just set the pace for how this bot lane is gonna go. Esco and Zaki are gonna really struggle to recover from this. They already had an unfavorable matchup. I think it's all about the mid lane. We've seen Yeezy do well on this Azir before. I think maybe he can do it again and pull GTK to some kind of a victory, but it's gonna be hard because already bot lane pressure. Look at Lagama. They have all the pressure in the world. Jungle as well. Ventum is invading Nedla, although gonna get the Scuttle Crab, not able to get that blue buff, so that's sort of the power of the Graves early on, and the power of Mike actually having lane pressure, or really more like forfeiting a wave to show up for that blue buff, so he's gonna be a little bit behind. You already see a level disadvantage there for the GTK top laner, but at least Nedla did get his hands on that blue buff, so not all is lost for GTK.
True, but you are successfully securing your own buffs, right? And so at some point, you can't give up that much more pressure. Lagama right now has just a ton of tempo across the map, right? They're winning in the bot lane. The teleport already was used by Esco. Usually you want to use that to, go for an early tier, something of that sort. They're trying to gank at the top lane. Might one just going to walk himself away. Totally fine on that. Could see a dive in the bot lane. Jopa, the fight continues, but the barrier is so strong. Kindred's here as well. Ventum could be picking up a mark. Might have been a little bit too early, actually.
Oh.
It doesn't matter. Jopa picking up the second kill of the game. Lagama in complete control of this bot side.
The one downside for Lagama is that Ventum didn't even get an assist. There's nothing for this Kindred. He spends his like hard-earned time coming around this bot side of the map, ganking bot, gets nothing for it. At least Nedla gets a couple creeps out of the minion wave mid lane to show for his mid lane gank, although he's taking a lot of damage in return from Christian. And Nedla, by the way, just showed top lane, just showed mid lane, not able to get anything done, actually getting counter ganked right now by Ventum.
Easy Ghost gets the E onto him from this Kindred. Venom going very aggressive. Now Christian going for with the flash. He's got the ability damage coming through. A third kill of the game picked up for Lagama.
Ooh, it might not be over yet. Might is trading hard with Mike at top lane. Doesn't have the ult though, so I think Mike is fine. Yeah, he's fine. He's good. So, at least top lane hasn't died yet. I guess mid lane hasn't died yet either. That was Nedla trying to gank Christian foolishly, a little bit over-aggressively, getting countered then by Ventum. A nice counter gank, but now Yeezy forced to teleport back to lane. It was Christian that picked up that kill for Lagama, so mid lane just got a lot harder. Any hope that Yeezy had of winning mid lane is gonna almost go out the window because that's a lost chapter picked up for Christian, which makes his sustain and his wave clear, his presence in lane just that much more potent. So now mid lane is basically gone for GTK. Their pressure early anyway is gone. Bot lane, their pressure is gone. Look at this freeze that Jopa and Fico have. Esco and Zaki forced to recall, or Esco forced to recall, Zaki forced to run to the jungle. They might try something with Ned in the mid lane, but Christian is level 6. They're looking for Ventum in the jungle, but they can't find him. He's not there, and his camps are all gone. You might get some wolves for your trouble. That's not worth the minions you're missing bot lane. And guess what? Zaki's not getting any experience. Honestly, this is This is disaster for GTK. This is exactly what you called in Champions Select, Carl. They don't have pressure anywhere. They don't have champions that enable them to do anything early on, and they are slowly sort of bleeding out.
Yeah, it's not a good look right now for GTK. I think they're already down 1,500 gold. Christian with a great angle in the mid lane. Easy Ghost just forced way back. I'm very surprised actually that Nedla is able to get the angle on this dragon.
Yeah.
Adventum in the top lane. I don't know about this. He's just getting a Scuttle Crab. I don't think it'll matter a ton in the long run, but maybe just a little bit imprecise with Adventum.
You know, I think if you're Lagama, you don't want to give up this dragon. I definitely think it's good that Nedla's getting it, but also look what Ventum's trading away, right? Scuttle Crab, top lane probably going to take both Gromp and Wolves away from Nedla as well, just to sort of get this power farming underway. Plus, if Lagama are trying to build up an early game lead and not playing for the late game, they know they have the late game anyway. They might not necessarily need the dragons, right? You don't need a Dragon Soul to win, or they don't have the mid game anyway, right? If it gets long enough for the Dragon Soul to come into effect, Lagama have probably already screwed up. They've probably already done something wrong. And so if they're playing for Heralds, if they're playing to just try to break open these outer turrets and sort of win the game in the first 15, 20, maybe 25 minutes, then those dragons aren't going to end up mattering that much. Plus, they can just take control of the next two whenever they want to. So I don't hate it from Lagama, but I think when you're this far ahead, you take everything. You don't let anything go through. You have pressure bot lane, you have pressure mid lane, you have pressure top lane, you have pressure from the jungle. You don't let GTK get anything. But GTK did get a first dragon, which means that any sort of a Dragon Soul threat from Lagama is going to be stalled for 5 minutes. So just a little bit more pressure in the bot side of the map.
Just relieving a little bit of the tempo that was kind of coming through, right? They're not able to cycle through to that objective. And I think this would have been okay if they'd been able to trade it for a Herald, potentially just to kind of continue snowballing, but Herald was not up. It just spawned on the map now. They may still end up trading it back, but it's not as much a trade at that point. We have to hold that thought. Party going on in the bot lane, I'm pretty sure, on the minimap over the blue buff. Christian's somehow able to secure it. Nedla doesn't actually have smite right now, so potentially either a missed smite or just kind of a steal away there from Christian. Shockwave used as well. I'm not really sure what happened there, but it ended up with the blue buff before the Orianna.
Well, you know what? Shockwave for a blue buff is worth it if that blue buff is for the mid laner, right? Christian, he's like, I want my hands on the blue buff. I'm probably not solo killing easy anytime soon, so I will just go ahead and take this blue buff and get that perma pressure. He invests Shockwave for it, probably going to be worth it, but Nedla, sort of looking for a gank. You see Christian wisely hovering top side of mid lane because you mentioned the Herald a little bit earlier. Ventum is on the Herald, but Jopa with an arrow bot lane.
Arrow in the bot lane. Eska taking a lot of damage. The exhaust went down, though. I think that will be enough to keep them safe. Nedla is here as well. Jopa could be in all sorts of trouble. S-Flash has barrier as well. There's the barrier going to be used. Wild Growth from Figo, knocking up Nedla for just a short amount of time. Jopa, can he dodge away? There's the collateral damage coming through. Is he going to keep himself alive from the red buff? The healing, does he have it? Yes, he is going to survive, at least for now. Nedla now in so much trouble. Might want to pick up one kill in the death realm. He's going to try to go for the double. Can he make it? 3 Zaki now running away, but it's going to get pulled in. Where is the Mace of Doom? There it comes down. He's the trio for him there. 3 kills picked up on the teleport.
Oh my god, that was so close to being a kill for Nedla. I mean, the teleport from Might probably would have made it not worth it anyway. Probably would have ended in a triple kill for him anyway, but at least Jopa would have died. That would have been something for GTK. They would have been on the board, right? But they're not on the board. 0 kills to 6. Jopa narrowly squeaks out alive, and just total disaster off a nice teleport from Might in the bot lane means GTK are just that much further behind. A 4,000 gold deficit. Look at Christian, by the way, in the mid lane with his blue buff, just bullying Easy, looking back in the bot line. An arrow from Jopa, a good arrow to start off this fight, but maybe a little bit of disrespect. He doesn't realize that Nedla is right there, coming down for a gank. Or he knows that he's got his teleport, he's got his top laner in his back pocket. Nedla not able to quite finish off that kill, and here comes Might taking Esko to the death realm. Esko's got nowhere to go. Zaki trying to run back and keep Nedla alive, but should have just gotten himself out because Nedla had nowhere to go either. And Zaki, poor little kitty cat, just going to eat that mace. A triple kill for Mike. This is going to be a big Mordekaiser. If Mike thought that top lane was already hard, well, just wait until Mike comes back with a 10-minute Leandries. Holy crap. Now, moving into the jungle, Christian and Ventum, they are feeling strong enough. They just take everything away from Nedla, getting bullied at his own Raptor camp. And Esko taking a bad trade again. Bot lane is still feeling the pressure also.
Got arrowed in the face one more time, and there is now the Bilgewater Cutlass, so some AD has finally come through from Jopa, making those auto attacks hurt a lot more. In the last fight, he just had the Berserker's Greaves, so a lot of attack speed, but didn't really have the bite behind it. Now he's kind of got both. Esco, pretty aggressive shift forward, gonna work out for him. Jopa also can heal up now with a bunch of lifesteals, so I think this bot lane is now in a very, very good spot for Lagana. I think better than it was a couple of minutes ago. Obviously, the triple kill came through for their top laner, so, that's gonna probably make your lane state be a little bit better than it would have previously been. As in the mid lane, Ventum just gonna be diving onto Yeezy Ghost. That's gonna be enough for the kill. Doesn't even need to use the ultimate. 7-0 now. Lagana continue their march.
Lagama are looking so strong. This is a showcase. This is a masterclass in how you get to be an undefeated team. But Mike trying to make something come back here. Unstoppable fourth mid lane.
Christian teleporting himself back in off the recall might not have been quite enough. The charge went through. Tower doesn't go down, but in the bot lane, it's enough to find him. They don't even need the arrow. Esco dies for the 4th time.
Oh my god. GTK, they get on the board. A teleport from Mike into a kill mid lane. Ventum. I don't think there's any shutdown gold involved, but it's something. He died. He gave over a little bit of that kill gold to Mike, who is the person you probably least wanted on if you're GTK, but it's something. It's something. Bot lane, though. Ooh, Christian.
Goodbye.
Oh, goodbye. Well, that's nothing. That's 2. Don't disrespect Graves damage. Even if he's behind, he's got that Warhammer. He can mess you up. Nedla, nice visit paid mid lane. Mike as well, doing a surprising amount of damage. Scion, not to be underestimated. But even while that was happening mid lane, a couple small victories for GTK. However, Lagama's bot lane, Jopa and Fico just getting so far ahead. They find another kill onto Esco. This Ezreal has been bullied so hard. I'm actually a little surprised the CS is not worse than it is. He's only down about 20, which is not good, but for being 0-4, that's not that bad. He's got his Muramana picked up. He is starting to scale. However, second dragon has come online, and GTK, they are probably going to be in no position to fight over this one. They are too far behind mid lane and bot lane, even after those kills that went over mid lane. One was on Mike. He's got no teleport. He's stuck in that top lane. Eventum actually tried to start this dragon up, but Jopa and Fico on fresh recalls. Doesn't even matter. He's going to walk right back to that dragon.
Certainly is. Meanwhile, off screen, Christian has brought the pain train to Station Yeezy Ghost, and he's going to be stopped as well at Station Nedla. Everybody's getting a ride on the pain train today. A double kill for this mid laner.
That was 1v2. Luden's Echo to a Stinger and a Fiendish Codex is how that happens. A 1v2 for Christian. Now looking bot lane. Jopa and Ventum looking for a dive.
They're just going straight in on George, and Lamb's Respite's not even available. Jopa going to survive, though, with the bear. Oh, he's got to put the auto dex in for the lifesteal. Can he get himself away? Ventum now trying to extricate himself from this rather sticky situation. Fico, the front line Lulu, that's what you like to see. Bloodthirsty support for sure, but they are able to get themselves away as Esco is just feeling the hurt right now. Goes down again.
Was feeling the hurt big time. And honestly, as a solo queue player from the last, 3, 4, 5 months, who is sick of seeing Ezreal, it doesn't feel that bad to see an Ezreal get bullied this hard. I'm kind of liking it. But looking back at this mid lane, we didn't get to see him play the first time around. Yeezy Ghost trying to engage on Christian. He just gets one shot. He doesn't respect how much damage Christian has. Like we said, a Luden's Echo to a Stinger. And now Nedla finding himself in a 1v1 where he's down almost 2 full levels. He's 2 full levels after that kill goes over. But Christian, there was honestly just no way to win that. That's the strength difference from this mid lane. We just talked about a 20 CS lead bot lane, 40 CS for Christian, although he overstays his welcome here. That's a shutdown.
Yeah, stayed a little bit too long there. Nice combo by Nedla. Definitely, knew he could go in for that. The blind smoke screen was a little bit too much for Christian to overcome. Probably could have gone for the shockwave if he had vision, perfect reaction time. Maybe could have just tried to one-shot Nedla through. But I don't think it really would have worked out. Probably just needed to go back and kind of reset a little bit, as he is very, very close to his second item of the game. But this Orianna is still very, very scary. Lagana, these kills don't take anything away from the victory that they're likely marching towards. Makes it a little bit sloppier, right? But in the end, I don't think it's going to matter or really even slow them down that much.
By the way, second dragon picked up for Lagama, and first turret falling as well with no herald picked up. It's just Mike being very strong and abusing Mike, spending some time in that mid lane. I want to point out that there isn't really a great ball delivery system for Lagama when talking about the Orianna. Oh, it was the herald. Okay. I stand corrected. Thank you, my beautiful observers. Oh, no, they're doing that now. That's not a replay. That is live. Mike and Ventum whacking away at this herald. We're going to pick that one up. They didn't need it for top lane turret or mid lane turret, but they might need it bot lane. However, Nedla hanging around this bot lane. We're seeing a 3v3 in a second.
Yeah, it might be a 3 versus 2 though. Vesco goes down once again. Christian, wave flash, beautifully done by Christian, straight on towards the turret, but he is now going to have to run for the hills. I don't think he's going to be surviving the situation. Fico as well running in. This is a little bit sloppy. Oh, what a great wild growth though. Christian, can he get himself out the other direction? It doesn't look like it. That was a little bit over eager, I feel, on the dive right there. Logano, the dive goes wrong, 1 for 2.
Okay, so just when I mentioned that Christian doesn't have a great ball delivery system, he says, I am the ball delivery system. Ujopa getting run down, though. It's not over yet, Carl. Oh, maybe it is.
Yeah, he's got the Bork active. He just kind of runs himself away. He should be okay.
Nedla's looking for it. He's trying to zone him off the turret. If Lagama have a downfall as a team, it is exactly this. I can remember multiple times before having them be in a similar situation where they are very far ahead and starting to get a little careless, starting to get a little less disciplined. They get comfortable, they think that they have everything under control, and then they can start to make small mistakes. And if GTK can start to capitalize on these mistakes, maybe they can win, because they do have the scaling. But looking back at this bot lane fight, Joker with a nice arrow to start it off, Christian coming down for a nice shockwave, but he runs down instead of right, and he should have just went back to Fico and Jopa. He would have been fine, but instead Nedla is just murdering him in cold blood despite the 2-level difference. Easy shows up as well, putting those nails in the Lulu coffin, and Christian goes back for a desperate ball, trying to find something back onto Easy, but it doesn't matter. Those are 2 pretty big kills onto 2 pretty nice late-game scaling carries that GTK have got for themselves. You know, if they're gonna find a way back into this game, it is this. This is their way, but they're still looking at down the barrel of an 8,000 gold deficit. It's not even done yet. Fico's getting fought on again.
Teleport in the bot lane. Zaki off of the shoulder. Can he get back on one auto tag? It's going to be enough just in time. Jopa now unstoppable, picking up the kill onto that cat. Nice teleports used. They only pick up 1 kill, but they do regain control before the dragon.
Oh, but okay. Only 1 kill, but it was close. Honestly, Zaki almost got out, but again, only 1 more kill goes over to Lagama, but another turret falling in that bot lane means that all of the outer turrets for GTK are no longer in contention. And talking about the dragon, that makes it so much easier to pick a fight over that dragon. Mike is melting! Oh my god!
Taking so much damage. Christian eventually going to pick up the kill credit for that one. That Blade of the Ruined King doing work, as well as the completed second item there for the Orianna. That's a lot of damage. Herald also goes down in the mid lane.
Herald dropped by Mike. I think just to get by Mike's. Excuse me. I think just to get some pressure before the dragon spawns on the map and knock out that inner mid lane turret, because it is 1 Herald shot from death. Christian stepping forward again, maybe a little bit too far. He doesn't have his team to support him, but hey, you know what? GTK don't know that he doesn't have his team to support him, or do they? He is in trouble.
Christian in a decent amount of trouble. Once again, dives to the collateral damage. That has been like the only thing that has killed in this game, I think, is the collateral damage coming through from Nedla.
Just over again.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too far forward once again. I gotta tone it back.
You know, tone it down would be good. When your team is ahead 15-6 and you have given over 4 of the 6 kills, that's not a great look, if I'm being honest with you. But when you're this far ahead and you got 2 items, I guess you can maybe afford to be a little bit fast and loose with your leads and with your advantages. Second dragon or third dragon of the game, they go over to Lagama. Their second dragon of the game. They can finally start stacking those infernal dragons and look for an infernal goal, which is going to delay the scaling that GTK do have, right? It's going to take longer to scale versus Lagama's carries. When Lagama has a strong late game in their own right, between the Ashen, the Orianna, and the Kindred, and these are all champions that scale very well with Elder Dragons and very well with an Infernal Soul, or with Infernal Dragons, and very well with an Infernal Soul. So, you know, Lagama, they're sitting with an 8,000 gold lead. They have a scaling team. I don't know if it's going to outscale an Ezreal, Yuumi, Azir, and a Graves, but it's probably not going to matter. They are making some small mistakes here and there. Christian getting caught out time and again, but for the most part, Lagama's still completely in control of this game. They knocked out all those outer turrets that GTK have. They knocked out that mid lane inner as well. So GTK's ability to contest the big jungle objectives has sort of been shattered across the map, or what little ability they had to begin with. Anyway, they did get their hands on that very first dragon, which is going to delay a dragon soul from Lagama, but it's only going to delay it by 5 minutes. So we're looking at maybe a 35-minute game. Best case scenario for GTK, that might be enough time for these carries to start coming online, but Baron has been started up by Ventim, so Lagama not looking to give him that much time.
Trying to bring the fight to GTK, or force GTK to come to them, I should say. I was going to say, I think this is where the small mistakes will really start to evaporate, is when they're in a 5 versus 5 setting. The gold lead should start rearing its head a little bit more. True Shot Barrage as well. This Baron is down to half HP. Great zone control from Chris, the fight does commence. Arrow straight onto Ned. The Ventum taking a lot of damage, but Lamster's fight should be available if the members do get low. But Christian just taken down immediately as the fight is going horribly for Laganma, starting to fall apart on this situation. The Baron throw might be real. 4 for 1. They lose the fight.
Oh my god! Okay, so, like, by the way, before I say anything else, Mike, what the heck is that Scion damage? I guess that's why people build the Kinetic Hydra first item on this man. Might jump into the pit. He's trying to do something, Carl, but I don't think he can.
Seems unlikely. Gonna pick up 1 kill, actually. Scion does come back to life. He might be able to stop the Baron if it resets in time. They don't really have a tank, actually, anymore. They may have trouble doing this. I'm not too sure. Zaki is stuck out of the shoulder. I think they're going to be okay, but a very, a valiant effort there by Mike.
Yeah, when you got multiple DPS champions, like, you might look at the Ezreal, okay, easy. You might look at the Ezreal and think that that's not a champion that does Baron very quickly, and you'd be right. But Azir is also an on-hit champion that can shred those objectives quite quickly. Let's take a look at this fight again and what exactly happened. Because you see Laganma grouped up in the pit, the True Shot Barrage misses, but Mike is going to just slam Ventum, do a ton of damage right away, forcing that wild growth onto him. Christian caught out the side, he just dies before he can do anything. The shotgun doesn't even go off. And then Ventum and everyone else actually from Laganma stepping outside of that Lamsert's fight, trying to run, trying to kill Mike, realizing that they can't, that he is too tanky for them to deal with, and just falling instantly. And now Mike jumping back into this pit as we look at a bit of a skirmish.
Gonna have to cut you off on that one, Baymax. We are back in the live. Laganma just falling apart once again, losing a couple more members. The bot lane over eager. They lose that 2 for 1 in that live screen. We'll cut back to that right now. The bot lane went down for basically no reason, just trying to be a little bit over aggressive. They got themselves caught out again.
And the kill gap is narrowing, 13 to 17. And guess what? The gold gap is only 4,000. And Christian, look at Mike, just unimpeded in the top lane. This Scion does not take damage. Not that any Scion takes damage, but this one deals a lot of damage too. He's got a Titanic Hydra and a Sunfire Cape and a Bramble Vest. Mike is getting there. Making me eat my words from when I said that he is probably the one champion that you least care if you see the kills on if you're GTK. He is doing a lot of work with those kills that he's picked up. Bot lane outer turret and mid lane outer turret. Actually, all the outer turrets, I think they just went down for GTK. I don't think they were down before. So GTK, they're finding a foothold on the map in terms of objectives. They're taking away those turrets, and they got the Baron, right? That's a big gold swing. That's a big pressure swing. That buys them so much more time. And if the recent history is any indicator, they're starting to scale. They're starting to do well in these team fights. But Laganma set up for this next dragon. These dragons are getting very important, and the third and fourth dragon for Laganma just melted.
Dragon's gone. Thought we were going to see a fight, but the Dragon's gone before anybody can arrive. They're now on Soul Point, Laganma. I think that's probably their win condition. Just going to have to survive out this Baron and look toward that next Dragon.
As someone mentioned in chat, I think it was Mike on a Scion who got a pentakill in the last Scion game that he played. So, this is a guy, his Scion is not sleep on Esco, though. No cleanse, feeling the pain.
Oh, that's a lot of healing, though, coming through from the Yuumi. Almost got one shot, but in the end, kept himself alive. Ultimate had to be used by the Yuumi, but other than that, Christian, you did use Flash, so kind of a win, actually, for GTK there. They weren't able to pick up a kill.
Yeah, I think Laganma didn't realize or forgot or didn't respect that Zaki had picked up that Mikhail's Crucible. So even though Esco doesn't have the cleanse available, Zaki able to get him out of that one alive. And now Laganma, like you said, investing Christian's Flash, not something that you really want to see. Or easy, might be in a bad position though.
Could be in all sorts of trouble here. The blue buff going to be taken over by Fico, actually. Support picking up that one. Nedla taking a lot of damage. Ventum does so much damage. Storm Razor on the Kindred, by the way, everybody. That's a lot of damage. AD carry. Kindred picking up the kill on the enemy jungler. The invade goes very well.
Well, that's something we're seeing, I think, is Laganma's carries, or I'd say everyone in Laganma, if they get caught out, they die fairly easily. But for every damage point that they take in a fight, they are equally as good or even better at dealing damage, right? This is a team that hurts so bad. Ventum, ridiculously strong on the Kindred. Christian, we've seen the one-shot power of his shockwaves several times in this game. Jopa as well, the Blade of the Ruin King, he's basically the only one that can make Mike bleed, and he makes Mike take a lot of damage also. Maybe a little bit less now that he's got the Bramble Vest and that he's got that Sunfire Cape, but still, he's sort of the only major threat to Mike other than Ventum. Once Ventum starts getting a few more marks under his belt, a few more items, he'll start to really shred Mike as well. I think, in terms of the late game tankiness of GTK, in terms of how hard they are to kill, as these minutes draw further and further on here, Mike is going to be finding himself easier and easier to be melted down, right? When you have a Kindred who's going to be picking up that % damage from the marks, when you have an Ashe who, as you mentioned, scales very well into late game, these carries from Lagama are probably going to have a harder time killing the squishies on GTK, the Ezreal and the Azir, but an easier time killing the tank members, the frontliners, with this really just Mike and maybe Nedla as well. If you throw in those True Grit stacks and the armor that the Graves is going to be stacking, these guys are good at shredding that armor.
True, absolutely are. The Rageblade second build by Ashe, I think very smart in this situation, just to try to get those Bork procs to come through onto Mike, who has become one of the main carries of this team. Very close to his third item, actually has been completed. It's the Rune Hurricane, so a ton of attack speed, AoE damage coming through from Jopa right now. If he's able to stand and fire, he will take down everybody in his path very rapidly. We are now under 2 minutes to go on this Soul Dragon for Lagama. If they're able to collect this dragon, they will have the Infernal Soul with 3 dragons under their belt of the same type. So it could be really their win condition. I think if they get this dragon, they should be able to win the game, unless they really find themselves caught out and kind of like throw the Baron and lose the game. But I think this Infernal Dragon is a huge win condition for them.
Agree. Like, Infernal Soul is never not a huge win condition, right? It's such a big... It changes the game, no matter who gets it, no matter when they get it, especially if they get it this early on, which, even though GTK managed to sort of squeak out that first dragon, it's still going to be a relatively early Infernal Soul for Lagama. I think it's about another minute or 2 until that next dragon comes online, but Jopa might not have to wait going for the siege on this bot lane turret, taking some turret shots, but healing it back up from that Blade of the Ruin King lifesteal and the shielding from Fico. Although, guess what? Jopa and Fico just showed on that bot lane wave. This means that Lagama's bot lane are not anywhere nearby for this Baron. They have no way to get to it, and GTK just started Baron all by themselves. They got a teleport coming through from Mike as well. Lagama might be making a horrible mistake here.
Teleport coming in with the Baron alarm is going off. Field goal as well on that Enchanted Crystal Arrow. The Baron's going to be kept alive by the Lamb's Respite. Is this Mike going to come through? For Venom gets taken down. That's the Baron going over in favor of GTK. The fight does commence as well. So far, going very well for Lagama. That's a double kill now for Jopa. He's keeping himself a polymorph onto the side as well. Mike not able to come up with the damage. He's being healed up, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He has no way to get over the wall. Does not have flash. Can he get away? No, he cannot. Donkey going to not be long for this world as well. Sion's back alive. You got to kill him once again. It's the Baron in favor of GTK, but it's only Nedla that survives.
I don't hate the look from GTK, but it just takes a little bit too long to pull off the Baron attempt and Ventum with a nice blast plant over the wall and a nice Lamb's Respite to keep that Baron alive. I don't think GTK saw that one coming. I didn't see that coming. We can take a look at the replay here and see exactly what happened, or not. We're moving over to this Infernal Dragon Soul as Nedla just gets run down by Jopa. Those auto attacks hurt so bad, and Lagama, a little bit of split decision making. Jopa and Fico hop on over to this dragon while Mike and Christian say, we're just going to take this mid lane turret and finally break open one of GTK's inhibitors, make them feel the pressure just a little bit more.
That's the Infernal Soul now for Lagama. I think they'll just look to take a fight and just go for the win, probably off of the Infernal Soul. I think they will win these fights, especially if they're taking them. Maybe look for an arrow, look for a big shockwave from Christian to kind of catch somebody out, I think, is probably the win condition right now. All the Baron buffs have been taken off now that Nedla did finally go down, so that's essentially just no longer an issue right now. I think they're very well set up to just take a fight. Here's that replay one more time.
Yeah, take a look at this replay. We see GTK start off this Baron, doing pretty good damage to it, and most of Lagama are so far away. Mike teleporting to this pit, though. He is quick to be followed by Mike. Might on his own teleport. Jopa with a nice arrow is going to go a little bit wide. Vent him into the pit with the Lancer Spike, keeping that Baron just alive. Meanwhile, Esco and Yeezy are on the side of the fight all by themselves. They've got no peel. They've got no front line. Mike and Nedla and the Yumi are all in the pit. Avi, they're all in the pit. They're not with their carries. And the front line for GTK just melts. They are totally destroyed. Mike, the last one alive, sure, he's tanky, but he's got no damage of his own. He can't win the fight all by himself. So Lagama, they don't get the Baron, but they win the fight. They win the Infernal Skull. Just like that, they're back in a strong place. But Christian, the side lane, getting just outside of that collateral damage.
Could have continued the trend on that one with him going down to that, but able to survive with the shield on his head, command, protect. Their ultimate's used by the top and jungle, and a nice push now by Lagama. They just want to take a fight. They are itching to take a fight. You have to feel that just by Ventum was almost itching to go down, but the kill is picked up onto Yeezy, goes down immediately, and this is the free fire from Jopa. Can he keep himself safe? Does he have the healing? No, he does not. Esco trying to go huge, but Mike now takes him to the death realm. That's going to be the end of this Ezreal. He does not stand a chance. Christian is here as well. He has the teleport in. Mike going down. This very likely could be the end of the game. Sion not able to do anything in zombie mode. It's a 4 versus 2. It's just Neva, it's Saki. They're the two on the defense. Lagadama trying to go for the game-ending push. 4 versus 2. First Nexus Tower is under fire. It's going to be going down very quickly. Neva has the Mikhails on his back, but he's not going to be alive. He's going to take it down by the shockwave coming through from Christian. What a great play, redeeming himself after getting caught out. He says, you kill me, I will put you back in your place. And it is Lagadama securing their place at the top of the table. They pick up the game over Gaming Team Krivare.
Yeah, worth mentioning is since we started giving Christian a little bit of attitude for getting caught out, he only died one more time since that point, and that was in that big team fight at the Baron. So he started playing a lot better. Almost got caught out bot lane there, but honestly turned out being a really good play because he had the teleport available. Lagama continuing their sort of death march in Howling eSports. They're still undefeated, Carl. They haven't actually really lost the best of one yet.
Yeah, absolutely. They're now improved themselves to 9-2, essentially 9-0 with those two forfeited defeats, and they are just very, very strong. And looking forward to what they can do in the rest of the league, and especially looking forward to the playoffs, getting in a more longer series, maybe up against Lethal Rage or whatever. With that being said, we're going to step away for now. Ash, the MVP from that game, Jopa popping off, the 17-year-old AD carry popping off on the Ash, played a very nice game in the bot lane. We will be talking to him after this break. We'll be back in just 5 minutes.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste on daydreams. Got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.
Take me in slow, breathe me in and let me go. Filling the lungs inside you, and the blackened eyes make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. It's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control. Let the darkness take control. Darkness take control. May the darkness take control.
Welcome back, everybody. Following a decisive win by Lauganma over Gaming Team Crevare in our final game of the day, we are now joined by the MVP of that game. It is Jopa playing a very, very clean Ashe. How are you doing, sir? Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thanks. I'm doing really good. It was a pretty fun game to play.
All right, Jopa, I got a couple questions for you, and then Carl's gonna have a couple questions for you. I just want to quickly talk about what do you think? So during that game was a bit of a roller coaster, where you guys obviously started out very far ahead, and then some stuff happened, and then you weren't quite as far ahead, but then some stuff happened again, and you were back in control. What do you think? Were you ever concerned? Did you ever think that maybe this would be the game that Lauganma dropped? Like during that game, were you afraid of GTK?
Well, the little game was like, we were so much ahead, we were like laughing, having fun. Then I was like greeding for CS and jungle camps, then I was late for Baron. We threw the game there, then we got like really worried. We were like, okay, we're going to lose now, we get outscaled. Then we started to try hard, focus on, and then after we focused, then it was easier to close out the game.
Okay, so short answer, yeah, you were a little afraid. I was worried that you might come in with like this confidence and be like, oh, nah, we were never afraid at any point in the game. We were fine the entire time. But it did look like I would say, and I want to know if you agree with me on this, but I feel like if Lauganma have a flaw, your guys' biggest flaw as a team is that you have a tendency to do that. I think when you guys get a little bit too far ahead, you end up sometimes playing a little bit too fast and loose. I think this game, Christian was probably the worst offender with that regard. He got caught out a bunch in that mid game, but it happens in other ways too. Like you said, it's not just that doesn't just manifest in kills. It manifests in lack of objective control, greeting for waves, like you said, stuff like that. So I want to ask if in my view, that's sort of the biggest problem that Lauganma have as a team, and that's a good problem to have, I guess, because it means that you don't have a problem the rest of the time. It's like, but what do you think? What do you think is your guys' biggest challenge as a team?
Yeah, it could be like, we get ahead early, then we don't know how to close out. I think we know how to close out the game, but we are having too much fun, so we start tinting, and then the games start to get harder.
Well, I mean, I guess that's one way to create more competition for yourself, right? If you don't feel challenged by the normal team, so you can just make the games harder. I think that's all I got for you, Jopa, so I'll throw it back to Carl. I know he's got another question or two for you.
Anyway, I always have more questions for you, Baymax, but thank you very much. And Jopa, just more generally about the league, you guys are now 9-2, one game away from securing a playoff spot for yourself, I believe, just mathematically. So you're doing very well. Haven't lost a game yet, other than the 2 games you had to forfeit. How confident are you that you can roll through the playoffs, get that first seed, and end up winning the league?
Yeah, we are pretty confident. The Team Atmosphere is like really confident. I think we'll win it.
Short answer, but short and sweet. I mean, we saw what you did against Lethal Rage this weekend as well. Just, clearly the second team in the league, just beating them down into the dirt, essentially. That's the confidence that we do like to see. Congratulations on the win. Thanks for the interview, and good luck in your games.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much to Jopa for stopping by and chatting with our humble selves here just a little bit, but that's going to bring it to the conclusion of today's broadcast with the games. Here are the standings after those games. Laganma in first place, followed by Lethal Rage. Then we have a bit of a gap down to Fantastic Esports, Monospa, Galactics, Gaming Team Krvare, and Kraljevina Serbia rounding out the list right now. Everybody's still in contention for a playoff spot. We have 3 games left on the docket here. Laganma has actually secured themselves a spot in the playoffs. I misspoke a moment ago. They are guaranteed at least the 4th seed in the playoffs thus far. So congratulations to them. They've played very well thus far. Fantastic Esports and Monospa now looking to kind of break out of the pack a little bit. Can they maintain their lead? They're in a playoff position right now. Top 4 teams do manage to get into those playoffs. So could be a bit of a photo finish here in the Howling Esports League Season 1. I know I am looking forward to it, and I'm specifically looking forward to our games this upcoming Sunday. We will be back on the 16th of August, starting at 1800 Central European Summer Time, followed by a second game at 1900 Central European Summer Time. The first game is extremely exciting. We have Kraljevina Serbia versus Fantastic Esports. These are 2 Balkan teams. These are 2 Esports Balkan League teams. They know each other very well. This matchup is sure to be very exciting. Definitely, probably one of the most hype matchups we've streamed in a long time. These are 2 teams very familiar with each other. You're not going to want to miss that. Again, that's at 1800 on Sunday, 16th of August. So I hope to see you there, followed by Monospa versus Gaming Team Krvare, following through, trying to get themselves into those playoff positions. But yeah, I hope you will join us then. With that being said, on behalf of myself, my colorcaster, Baymax, and the entire live broadcast crew, we thank you all so much for watching, and we hope to see you next time. Good night.
My shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, your music gets me through the highs and lows. My head, shoulders, knees, and toes, my bones, you're keeping me from feeling all alone. I've been praying to 1,000 different stars, to 1,000 different arms, till I found you. I've been chasing by 1,000 different hearts,